It's the Orioles on Masson on a hot summer night in downtown Baltimore. The Orioles welcome in the Texas Rangers tonight, the opener of a 3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks so much for joining us. Last night, the NL East leading Phillies came to town for a one-game makeup, and the Orioles played a very interesting game. The Phillies built up a 5-0 lead, but the Orioles didn't back down. They came up short, and lost it 5-4. And if you look within the box score, you'll see that 4 of the players that have big parts of the future were involved in the comeback. Let's go to the 6th inning. Kevin Gausman allowed 2 runners, so Paul Fry came on. He got an out, and then he got this comebacker off the bat of Carlos Santana. That turned into an inning-ending double play. Then we forward to the top of the 7th. Fry allows a couple on. Here's Miguel Castro. He comes on, and he gets an inning-ending double play. Then in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 5-1, here's Trey Mancini, a 2-run home run. That got the Birds back into the game. And then in the 8th inning, here's Tanner Scott. He strikes out Rhys Hoskins. That keeps it a 1-run game. Orioles came up short, but those youngsters, a big part of the future, a big part of that comeback last night. And Jim, as this year goes on, we're going to see a lot more of these opportunities, but it's really nice to see 3 23-year-olds and a 26-year-old holding their own already in the major leagues.
Yeah, and what I like it even more is that when you come to the major leagues, you got to get here, then you got to figure out how to stay here, got to figure out how to be successful here. And we've seen them. I mean, Paul Fry in a small, he was really good up in Minnesota. The next day or 2 days later, he wasn't. We've seen Castro at 23 been really good. Lately, he's struggled. We've seen Tanner Scott. He comes in Minnesota. He strikes out 3 on about a 10 or 11 pitches, and he struggles. So all these guys may be struggling a little bit, and then figuring out a way to get a little bit better. And again, this is a ball club that obviously is not. If you follow the Orioles, you're not playing the way you want. So you're trying to get young guys up here, give them a chance to succeed, sometimes fail, and kind of move on, because everything is being pointed towards that future.
So the opportunity is there for those players already. We expect there will be more changes made. How important is it for players to come up this year, young players, at least to get the experience of playing in the big leagues?
Well, we saw this a little bit in 1988 when the Orioles lost the first 21 games, and Brady Anderson will be traded. There's going to be some trades. You're going to hopefully get some young major league players for Britton and for Manny Machado if they do go, maybe even Adam Jones. So you want to get them up. I still think that Cedric Mullins, he's kind of earned his way to get an opportunity. I know DJ Stewart, went from AA to AAA this year. So there are a lot of young guys. And then, we're also seeing, Morenas is having a chance to pitch. He's been with, 8 or 9 teams or whatever the case is. He's got a pretty good arm. So you're trying to build, and hopefully if they do trade guys you don't really want to give up, but you're going to, whether it's Zach Britton or Machado or even Brock or Jones, you want to get players that maybe can play in the big leagues, or young players that not in Buck Shoulders always says this, Jim. Hey, you don't learn anything in spring training or September, so get them up here in August.
Yeah, and as you look ahead, of course, there will be opportunity for players, whether they're in the organization now or not. But it does show you that if you make the right moves and the right players do come up and produce, and then the track record guys who maybe this year are having off years, you can turn this around rather quickly. Well,
you hope so. And, I like the fact that, Paul Fry, he's an international money. Now, they don't really go out and spend, but getting about $5.4 million. I don't know how much they'll spend, but last year they, 2 guys that we're going to see Ramirez pitch yet tomorrow. He's an international, where you traded the international money. We got him from the Yankees. Fry came over early April of 2017. He's in the big. I like him because he can get lefties and righties out. So all of a sudden, Castro, they got him in a late minor league trade after we saw him. He's only 23. When he was 19, he was a closer for Toronto. That didn't work out. Had some shoulder problems. He's got 3 pitches, can throw 93 to 97. So they're, as I said, they got into the big leagues. They're trying to continue to prove they belong here. What a great opportunity when your club's not playing well. So hopefully they will learn from their mistakes. I certainly did. And, they have enough talent to actually be good at this level.
Yeah, and there are some players knocking on the door. Jim mentioned Cedric Mullins. DJ Stewart had 3 hits in the AAA All-Star game. And Ryan Mountcastle and Alex Wells, they're going to be in the Futures game on Sunday. So there are players that are down there making themselves known.
Yeah, well, Alex Wells is not a power guy, but Mountcastle, he got hurt early after spring training. But in the games that I watched, or the games before the games we did on television, what I like, and again, he's a #1 draft choice, still trying to find him a position. he's got some bat speed. When you get into those fastball counts, even though you don't get as many as you used to because major leagues throw so many breaking balls, you can see the bat speed. So he's going to hit some home runs. He's going to do it as he works his way up, and then he'll probably get an opportunity here in Baltimore.
So tonight the Texas Rangers in town. Final series leading up to the All-Star break. It's the O's and Texas Rangers. We're coming back to Camden Yards. Lineups and first pitch are next. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Johns Hopkins Orthopedics, when you have a setback, we set you up for a comeback. Well, it is a warm night here in downtown Baltimore as the Rangers come to town. Our game time temperature brought to you by BGE Home. We know more, we do more. 85 degrees, winds out of the southeast, and that humidity at 43%. We have mostly sunny skies, a lot of blue skies over downtown Baltimore. So here come the Texas Rangers. They are on a 10-game road trip to close out the first half, and Shin-Soo Choo will lead off this season, a .399 on-base percentage, and he has been on base in 48 consecutive games. Andrus Mazzara and Beltre with Odor in that number 5 spot. Guzman is at first, Chirinos, Gallo, and Tochi.
And Alex Cobb, he's actually had pretty good numbers. Four-seam fastball, really important because it sets up all the other pitches. We've seen more velocity, better command, even though the 2-run home run he gave up to Mitch Garver in Minnesota on a 3-2 fastball, hit it right down the left field line, then hung a curveball. And big question, I think, Jim, is he had a little bit of a blister and then a split nail that got him out of the ball game in the 6th inning in Minnesota. He was actually pitching really well. I mean, he had a 0-0 ball game into the 5th, gave up 2 runs there, 2 runs in the 6th, and then he would leave. Numbers along the board. I mean, horrible start, late sign, March 21st. Didn't have any arm strength, didn't have any command. Everything ended up, and I mean everything, all 3 pitches ended up in the middle of the plate. You would never know it from the numbers, but they don't score him a lot of runs, a little over 3 runs. What they get Hamill 2.88. So we should have a quick, slow, low-scoring game. I don't know if that'll really be the case here, but what we've seen, he pitches better than the numbers.
Right.
But somehow, and you asked me last night, do you pitch differently when you don't get a lot of runs? I think what happens is if you don't pitch really well, and I mean 6, 7 innings, which he's done on occasion, and you give up 3 or 4 runs, it looks like you had a bad outing.
Well, here is Shin-Soo Choo, who is heading to the All-Star game for the first time. And he is in that leadoff spot now, 36 years old. So how about that? Choo goes for the first time, and our old friend Nick Markakis goes for the first time. See the numbers 290 for Chu. He's been on base 48 consecutive games, which is a club record in a single season. Will Clark had a longer streak that carried over 2 seasons, but Chu is the first to reach 48 in a single season.
Well, he's also hitting home runs. I mean, they signed him. He got about an 8-year deal for a ton of money because he can hit home runs. He can get on base. When he stays healthy, and that's been a problem, especially last year, he's a pretty good player.
Well, his contract has 2 more years.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, it goes forever. And if you're playing well and you're healthy, there's Jeff Bannister, and boy, he's done a nice job in Texas first couple of years. Playoff bound kind of ball club.
It looked like the splitter miss, so 2-2.
Yeah, we've seen that get better for Alex Cobb. He was strikeout pitcher, then the Tommy John, missed all of 2016. Came back at the end of that year, I guess, and home runs came up. Still trying to, mechanical problems, late sign as we mentioned, and going to try to come up and in on him.
And he got him. So a strikeout to begin the game. Good start for Cobb. 1 away.
Now take a look at your Mercedes pitch cast, and here's a guy that's been on base 48 times, and he doesn't really get it in, but look at the late movement and enough velocity and the location. Even though Chu's one of the better high ball hitters on this ball club.
Alex Cobb averaging about 6 Ks per game, which is a strikeout per game less than his career numbers. And here is Elvis Andrus, who is closing in on a milestone, comes in at 259. And he'll take the breaking ball low.
What, 260 the milestone?
No, the milestone is 1,500 base hits.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He is 7 away. Breaking ball stays inside. He will become the 7th Ranger in their history to have at least 1,500 base hits, and he gets out of the way of this one. And the 2-0 is swung on and bounced toward third. Beckham charges, knocks it down, has to hurry, and not in time. Andrus reaches.
Yeah, Tim and I were talking. He backed up on a ball yesterday, and I was trying to tell him that, I had the luxury of playing with Brooks Robinson. So again, he only could play this one way, but he plays it right. The problem is that Andrus has such good speed. If you back up, he's going to beat it out. So you knock it down. I mean, tough hop, trying to get it on the short hop, and it's a pretty bang play right there. But it looks like the foot maybe just beat it. And of course, Andrus coming off when he's healthy. Of course, he broke his right elbow. What about, I think, the 11th of April? Got hit by a pitch. Boy, did he have a year last year, his best year ever. 20 home runs, almost at 297, 88 RBIs. He can steal bases.
So the error allows a 1-out base runner for Nomar Mazara. Fastball misses upstairs.
Yeah, see, I actually think that's a base hit, and I'll tell you why. Mainly because if you play back, he's going to beat it out. And the only way you can play it is to get a really difficult hop. There's no other way to play it. So that's not your normal. I'm not criticizing the scorer. It just gives you an idea of what happens when you have somebody that can run. You play back, okay, I don't make an error, but he gets to first on a base hit. Right. So either way, so he played the ball the only way he could make it, and that's certainly that short hop, because of the speed and the way he hit it and the fact he can run as well as he can, that sets up the whole play.
Fastball 2 tight, 2-1 on Mazara, who's in his 3rd season already and still just 23. Made his major league debut in April of 2016, and in his first 2 years he's hit 20 home runs in each of those seasons, and he has 15 already this year prior to the All-Star break. Pops this one up. Jones is taking charge, and Adam has it for the 2nd out. Mazara back to first, 2 down.
I'll take a look at the Oriole defense. Mancini, Jones, Valencia, Beckham, Machado, Scope, and Davis, and Caleb Joseph getting a chance to catch again.
Here's the future Hall of Famer Adrian Beltre, who has had an injury-plagued season. He's been on the disabled list twice, and He is swinging a cold bat at the moment. He's 4 for 28 on the road trip and 5 for his last 32.
But ever dangerous. Yeah, I saw him coming down the hallway to hit, and I said, "You're really still playing?" But we talked. I mean, and it's yeah, I mean, he laughed because there's been a lot of rumors because while he's been hurt, if he's healthy, you know, again, the guy that's been playing, you know, he's got Hall of Fame numbers.
Center field, easy play for Adam Jones, and he's got it. So Cobb works around the 1-out error. Texas strands a man. We head to the bottom of the first. Here come the O's. Camden Yards. Let's get a look at the Orioles Southwest starting lineup. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Beckham and Scope with Manny Machado in the number 3 spot. 33 multi-hit games, which leads the team, and he comes in with a modest 3-game hitting streak, but 25 hits in his last 18 games. Jones, Trumbo, Valencia, Davis, Mancini, and Joseph for the Birds.
And that lineup, Cole Hamels. So we did a change up in the cutter because he's going to throw 93, maybe touch 94, but he's got a change up, throw it in any count. Never won here, which is kind of surprising because he is 151 and 110, very consistent. Lifetime ERA at 3.41. He'll throw the change up in any count. Tall, throws the ball downhill, challenge you.
Beckham goes after the first pitch. That's Odor at second base. So 1 pitch and 1 down.
Now take a look at the defense, and he's a good guy to play behind. So Gallo, Tochi, Mazzara, Beltre, Andros. Of course, Beltre won 5 Gold Glove. Elvis is playing shortstop tonight. Odor, Guzman, and Chirinos. Really good throwing catcher behind the plate.
So Elvis has entered the building.
Yes, and he's out at short. He's happy to be here too because the elbow's healed.
When you're on the DL, you don't feel like you're part of the team. Here's Jonathan Scope, and he'll take a strike.
So Hamels coming off some disappointing 7 runs, 4 runs the last 3 starts. But he's got the curveball, the cutter. I mean, he's got them all.
Yeah, it's very un-Cole Hamels-like to look down at his splits and see in his last 3 starts combined an ERA of 11.81. That is just not Cole Hamels.
And it was San Diego, the White Sox, and Detroit. Now, Cabrera, when you go to Detroit, is out for the year. So he gave up those numbers. I mean, it gives you an idea. If you're not on your game, it doesn't matter what the lineup is, you can get hammered. But again, he's a control guy. He can stay. Doug Brocail looking on, his pitching coach, along with Dan Worthen, came over from the Mets after being there 9.5 years. But that's what's to me, so challenging about this game. He won 11 games last year. They scored him a bunch of runs. They got him over 7 runs a game this year. He comes in at 4 and 8. It's almost the same ERA. They're getting him 2.8,
which is the third lowest.
Yeah, right. And so if you don't really not on your game, and he hasn't been the last 3 starts, it's hard to win.
That ball's ripped foul down the line. Yeah, and that's in all of Major League Baseball, the third worst, not just the American League. And of course, with the Rangers out of the race in the AL West, Hamels' name keeps coming up in trade speculation. So overall, the ERA isn't too bad, 4.28. But the thing is, he's got a lot of experience, and he's got postseason experience.
And he also has just got one more year on his deal, and it's a lot of money. It's $23 million, I believe, somewhere in that number, and a $6 million buyout. But you're right. I mean, bring up a lot of points. Can he still pitch? Well, we'll see tonight. The Orioles, of course, is not one of the great offensive teams. A lot of scouts here watching because all the teams that are in contention, most of them can use a starting pitcher, and most of them want to get better.
So Scope about to see a seventh pitch, and he hits it to right field. That'll chase Mazzara back, and right in front of the wall, he has it for the out. And 2 away. Let's get a look at our PNC inside the numbers and the Orioles and the Rangers. And last year, Jim, it was the Orioles dominating this series.
Yeah, and the Orioles win 75 games last year. They only win 78. So, but when it came to playing the Rangers, in every capacity. I mean, and the one that really lights out is the 356 runners in scoring position, because the Orioles were the second best in baseball. This year, they're the worst. And that was that's one of the biggest reasons the Orioles are struggling to score runs. You get them on, you get them into scoring position, and not like last year, even though that stopped in September, they just don't get them in.
Manny Machado takes ball one. You see that 385 on base percentage for Manny. He's in the top 10 individually, but he's the only Oriole in that top 10. The club is dead last in on base percentage in the American League.
Yeah, the one thing about Cole Hamels, when we look, he's kind of more of a fly ball pitcher, 130 on the ground and 92 in the air. So that's, throws more grounders than fly balls, but that's not a pronounced ground ball pitcher. But the 21 home runs, that's high.
Center field, will it fall? Nope, hangs up there for Tochi, and Hamels has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Through one, no score at Camden Yards. Maryland Day. That's right. First 35,000 fans 15 and over receive an Orioles Maryland flag script replica jersey presented by Morgan State University. It is a good looking jersey. For your tickets, Orioles.com. So come on out and join us tomorrow night. And the players will be wearing a similar jersey on Celebrate Maryland Day. And there's a Celebrate Maryland hat. Gotta love that. That young man's all decked out. He's got the camo Orioles shirt and the Maryland hat.
Got his glove. That's the important thing.
He's got the cool looking glasses.
Ready to scamper after a ball that comes his way.
Can't decide where he wants to sit.
I used to scamper at the Coliseum when the Dodgers first moved to L.A.
Really? Did you get any foul ball?
Oh. Charlie Neal, their second baseman, one of their second basemen.
Here's Odor, and he'll foul it back. Guzman and Chirinos here in the second. Odor is hitting 5 straight. The Rangers, like the Orioles, are having a real tough time at the plate. The Rangers are 14th in the league in team batting. The Orioles are 15th. It looked like a real good splitter, so it's 0-2, and that pitch, that's the pitch for him. He didn't throw it a lot last year coming back from Tommy John, but if he's throwing enough strikes, it could be a very effective pitch.
Well, what it does, it looks exactly like the fastball. So you have, 92 to 93. We've seen him have a little, much better life, and then you have a pitch that looks the same, but bottom can drop out of it. And what you're trying to do is get the hitter out on his front foot so you can lose some of the power. He's trying to stay back, and of course, Odor, 2 years of 30 home runs. Big contract, signed him for a nice little contract for what, almost $50 million for 6 years, and got hurt early. There's another splitter, and a good one. So what happens is, he started chasing, and I think a lot of times you hit 30 home runs, you think you'll do it again the next year, but the league adjusts. That's the perfect pitch. What I like about it, and again, it's very much like Kevin Gausman's splitter, that it didn't roll. I mean, the bottom just dropped out. And the splitter serves 2 purposes. Well, actually 3. It goes down, it changes speeds, and it gets the hitter out if you throw it right.
Here's a strike to Guzman.
Well, another one of their international draftees, 2011, what, $3.45 million they spent. Mazar got over $5 million, one of the highest ever.
It sounded like a broken bat. That's Beckham at short, and 2 quick outs. So Alex Cobb has fared very well, Jim, against the Rangers in his career. You see the career active pitchers and the lowest whip.
Yeah, not a lot of appearances, but when he has pitched against them, very, very effective. That's pretty good. Shields, who's been around forever, and then of course got traded from Tampa to Kansas City and then to the White Sox, so maybe seeing the Rangers a little bit more. And Chirinos, the average down, but he's on his way to doing what he did last year when he hit 17 home runs, which was a career high.
And a strike. Chirinos now 34 years old. They love his defense, although he is having trouble this year, and this could be the pitching. We don't see them every day, but he's caught only 4 potential base stealers, and he's too good for that. Paints the outside corner. So inside outside 0-2, and Chirinos and Bill Welke having a conversation.
Wasn't Bill Welke one of the Sarasota umpires? I mean, he seems like he's in spring training.
Saw him every game.
So they know him. And they know that he has an ample strike zone. Probably favors the pitcher if you make your pitches, which is where the glove is from Caleb Joseph right here.
Down the line, slicing back, and it's foul.
I mean, after that call before, he's swinging anything around the outside. I mean, and the point, of course, is that when you have an umpire that will expand the strike zone, you want to know it early if you're a pitcher, and you want to know it early if you're a hitter. Because if you're a pitcher, you'll try to take advantage of it. If you're a hitter, makes it more difficult to hit. And if he does it early in the count, you certainly don't want to get called out looking.
Another foul ball. Cobb in his career, he has faced the Rangers only 5 times. He is 1-0, and that win was September 16th of 2013. A.J. Pierzynski was the Rangers catcher in that game, and Lance Berkman was on that roster as well. So that's how long ago it was. Alex Rios was one of the outfielders, but Elvis Andrus played in that game.
I said he's been signed forever. And he's only 29, turning 30 later in this year.
Chirinos battling here. Fouls off the 0-2.
Well, before the Tommy John, Alex Cobb was a strikeout pitcher. He was averaging well over 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. And since the Tommy John, it's gone down a little bit, probably because of arm strength and the splitter. And Brian Anderson, who does their games, former pitcher, said that it just hadn't been the same. Doesn't mean it seems like it's gotten better from what we've seen. But early on, he couldn't command his stuff. He didn't have arm strength. He couldn't stay on the corners, which is where he likes to live. And the numbers reflect that. There's another good splitter. And then the fact you don't get a lot of runs and you're playing for a team that played what 94 games and only won 26 of them. Pretty much almost have to be at your best every time you pitch, and that's hard to do.
So the count holding 1-2, and this will be the 7th pitch to Robinson Chirinos. Left field, back on it Mancini, and he's got it. So a 3-up, 3-down inning. Alex Cobb gets him in order in the second. $500 for being selected, and we'll win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game tonight. You can play Home Run Richard scratch-offs, win up to $50,000, or enter those non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/homerun. Beautiful night in Camden Yards as the sun sets. Very little breeze, as you see.
Yeah, I think it touched about 91 and then dropped. It's really beautiful. A perfect night to pitch. Nice breeze. You predicted humidity yesterday, but I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's on the rise.
Yeah, all the way from 38% to what, 44?
44.
Yeah.
Here's Adam Jones. He'll lead off after Hamels had a 3-up, 3-down first. Adam all of a sudden having a tough homestand. He is 0 for his last 8 and just 2 for 17. Here's the StatCast powered by AWS, and there's how they defend Adam. Sort of a shift. Odor's on the second base side, but up the middle.
Yeah, that's that cut fastball, and like we said, the changeup kind of sets all that up. We saw 93 in the first inning. When he's at his best, he's going to, he can pitch in with a fastball and then cut that same pitch at 89. That's where Chirinos goes. So right there, what it does, if you throw there enough and you can stay out of the 2-strike counts and 3-ball counts, you can still use that outside corner. Now normally this would be, could be, well, he's coming back in again. Nope, he tried to, but you can see 94.
Well, his repertoire is interesting because the cutter looks like a slider, but it isn't. And then he also throws a slider. So as a hitter, slower. It's got to be confusing. Yeah. You know, you pick up the spin and it does a variety of things. That ball's ripped and caught by Beltre. He can still get it done.
Well, as long as he's healthy, and and all the injuries he's had, his hamstrings this year, was quads the last couple of years. And this ball, I mean, this is 95 miles per hour, probably 93 going up, and then turns it around to 95. So there's a good at bat. And we talked about sometimes the numbers don't tell you the whole story. You can hit in tough luck. But Beltre, 5-time Gold Glover.
Mark Trumbo now. Mark also having a tough homestand. He is 3 for 20 and pops up the first pitch, but that'll be back in the crowd.
Yeah, his stuff is still good enough, and I'm sure I saw at least 6 to 7 scouts. A lot of teams looking for starting pitching. Yankees, one of them. I mean, you just go down the list. Everybody needs a Cole Hamels, but he does have when Texas traded for him. I mean, it really helped Philadelphia. We saw that yesterday. Alfaro, who hit 3 for his first 3, the catcher, he was part of that deal. They knew they had control of Cole for all those years. So that was a big trade, and they were willing to pay the money. If you get, talking to a couple of scouts, they said, well, maybe not a #1 guy, which is what he was 3 years ago when they traded for him, but certainly a #2. And now maybe that's because he struggled over his last 3 starts.
34-year-old veteran. It's chopped to Beltre. He'll play the hop. See him back up there. And 2 down. So home versus road. Look at Cole Hamels, Jim. 2.57 ERA on the road, yet at the ballpark in Arlington, 5.83. So these are the biggest splits, home versus road, in the major leagues.
Well, Colorado you can understand, even though they have the humidor. Philly is a hitter's ballpark. Velasquez just got off the DL. Giolito had command problems. No reason why there's no difference. And then for Hamels, you walk into Globe Life Park, I think is what they call it down in Texas now, and it's huge, but the ball flies.
Yeah, always hot there.
Yeah, it's hot. Well, I mean, even in May you get fairly warm water. I mean, the dimensions look vast. That's not the way it plays.
The new ballpark they're building will have a roof.
Yeah, when is that going to be done? Probably another year or so. They build fast down in Texas.
Yeah, they build all year round, right? I think they're building it now, and it's in one of the parking lots. And then when that stadium is built, they'll knock down Globe Life. Oh, they're not? Oh, they're going to convert it to condos, I'm told. Valencia left field. There's Joey Gallo. And he's got it. So 6 up, 6 down for Cole Hamels. We head to the 3rd. Pitchers in command. No score. Providing innovative high-value dental and vision benefits to area employers and individuals. Well, the fans on this Friday night, you see a lot of youngsters here, and don't forget about Kids Cheer Free. You can bring them down, 1 adult ticket, 2 kids under 9 get in absolutely free, like that family there or that family there. And it's one of the best deals in baseball. You can't beat free.
No.
So 1 ticket and 2 children 9 and under get in absolutely free, and you can enjoy baseball. And tonight you got fireworks and you got music with the concert with Renee Blair. So a lot going on. Here's Joey Gallo. Carlos Tocci on deck, and then Sin-Soo Choo. A little bit high in the strike zone there. Joey Gallo, 24 years old. He's from Las Vegas. And he attended Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, the same high school that Joey Rickard attended.
Well, wasn't he with Chris? Yeah, Bryce Harper times and Chris Bryant.
He played in leagues growing up, the travel teams with Bryce Harper.
Yeah, right. So they all played. I mean, kind of the baseball rat pack.
Skies this one a mile high. Who's it going to be? Adam Jones coming in on it. And finally it comes down. And one away here in the third. Don't forget, on Sunday, the Oriole Advocates will conduct their 2018 cardboard to leather equipment collection during the 105 game against Texas. Fans are encouraged to bring new or gently used baseball equipment to the game, all to benefit underprivileged youth in developing countries. For more information, OriolesReach.com. There's our buddy with the Maryland hat. See, he's got the glove ready, still waiting for a foul ball. Here's Carlos Tocci. He is a Rule 5 player. Interesting how some teams utilize the Rule 5 draft. Towards the middle, and that gets on through for a base hit. So the first base hit for Texas from the number 9 batter, Tocci.
Well, that's pretty much what he does. I mean, I talked to a lot of scouts that saw him in spring training, and very good defensively, can run a little bit. But, I mean, you look, I mean, we're talking 500 at bats, 3 home runs, and 13 steals. So, and you know as well as I, if you're sitting at home, you have to keep a player like that. You pay $100,000, you have to keep him on the roster all year long.
Chu struck out his first at bat, leading off the game. And there's a strike.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that he struck him out on a high pitch. Check this out. Homers hit on high pitches this year. So there you go. Harper, Correa, and Cruz. We know about Nelson Cruz. He had 40 home runs when he played for the Orioles.
What's interesting to me about that list, 2 of those 4 hitters are left-handed batters, and the tradition is that left-handed power hitters like it down and in so they can uppercut.
There's a left-handed hitter going into the Hall of Fame this year at 612 home runs. Jim Thome.
You liked it high?
Greg Nettles liked it high. Eddie Murray, of course, he was a switch hitter.
And another base hit. Sliced to left center field. Tocci's going to third, and he's going to make it.
Yeah, see, there's the speed factor. And, of course, the plays in front of him. Anytime a left fielder that is right-handed has to go to his left, and that's what he's going to have to do. It's just a splitter. So this is why now he's reached base at 49 straight times. So right there, he waits to the line drive to clear the infielder, play in front of him, and he doesn't even have to slide.
Now, Tocci's from Venezuela. He signed with the Phillies when he was 16 years old back in 2011. And this past December at the winter meetings, the White Sox took him in the Rule 5 draft, and the very same day they traded him to Texas, and here he is with the Rangers. So they like his ability, just 23 years old, and Chu gets on with a base hit. So Cobb now will look for a double play ball.
And Andrus can run well. We already saw that. Reached on the air. He can hit the ball to right field. Chu can run. Even though they don't steal a lot off of Alex. They have stolen 3 bases in 6 attempts.
There's a chopper. Cobb has it. He'll go to Scope, and out at first base in a double play. Nicely turned by Scope up the middle. The throw sailed on Cobb, but Jonathan able to reel it in and fire to first to complete the double play. Time now to book your Best of Baltimore package with Hilton. Visit travel.hilton.com/Baltimore and book today. Beautiful night at Camden Yards. First game of this 3-game weekend series, which will lead up to the All-Star break. Cole Hamels on the mound, coming off 2/3 of an inning in his start last Saturday in Detroit, matched the shortest outing of his career. He hasn't won a game since June 19th. Chris Davis, the only left-handed batter in the lineup against him, will take ball one. Mancini and Joseph will follow.
You know, a lot of times when you look at numbers like that, you go a long time. If they get you 2.88 runs a game, you're not, in this day of age, going to win unless you're Chris Sale.
Into the shift, that's Andrews, the shortstop.
Yeah, you just don't win a lot of games when they don't score runs. You don't usually pitch long enough. Even if you go, what, 6 1/3, 6 2/3, you're gone.
Well, the Orioles, along with race ambassadors Chris and Jill Davis, are proud to once again host the 9th annual Casey Cares 5K Run Walk to raise funds to help critically ill children and their family members throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. The event will take place at Oriole Park tomorrow, so register and get more information at Orioles.com/Casey Cares. Mancini slices it foul. Trey with the 2-run home run last night that got the Orioles back into the game. That home run snapped an 0 for 15 drought, so maybe he's on trending upward now.
Well, he's got his sense of humor back, because if you looked at Kevin Gausman last night, he gave up 12 hits, 9 of those with exit velocity under 85 miles per hour. No other major league pitcher this year had given up more than 6. So a lot of soft hits. And then the Alfaro home run was hit real hard. So when Kingery, who got 3 of the softest hits, whatever, when he gets, and he ended up 2 of them down at first, Trey looked at him, he said, "Can I borrow a couple of those hits? Can you leave one here before you leave?" Because and then he ends up hitting the home run. See there, that was a 2-seam fastball. And what he can do is throw that changeup off it. So right there, look at the glove. And then he's in the neighborhood. And I mean, this ball's probably a little bit outside, but the strike. So take a look right here. This is what 2 strikes does. I mean, that ball's on the chalk line. But he can pitch in early and then right to the corner.
There's Caleb Joseph, 2 down.
Yeah, Scott Kulba, who's the hitting instructor for the Orioles, he actually has home. You put 7 baseballs across home plate, you'll be a half a baseball to the right of the plate and whatever. So that's the width of the strike zone. And he has them numbered. And then he'll do drills where he'll throw a ball. He'll ask the hitter, what number did I go over? So you start from the left. That's 1, 2, 3. A hitter, some of the hitters will say it's on 3 and it'll actually be on 6 or 7.
Huh.
So that's what happens when you change the eye line, eyesight, or whatever of a hitter in and out. And a lot of guys can't adjust.
So a 9-pitch inning. Orioles go 3 up, 3 down for a 3rd consecutive inning for Hamels. is brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4 and Toyota. What drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. No score, 9 up, 9 down, retired by Cole Hamels. And the youngsters looking forward for the fireworks tonight. The youngsters having trouble sitting still until you get the nachos. Then you can sit still. Oh, there's a new Oriole fan. Gotta love that Oriole onesie. Been a long time for onesies in my house. Here's Nomar Mazar. He'll take a low 1-0. Beltre on deck and then Odor. Mazara flied out to Jones his first at bat.
Yeah, so again, they were very. I mean, the year before he signed, which was 2012, they spent like $12 million in the international market, and he signed the next year. I thought it was $5 million. It was actually $4.95 million.
You made a mistake.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, no, they did. They didn't. They didn't pay him what I thought they paid him. They paid him.
They got him undervalued.
$50,000 less than $5 million at 16. But he was almost 6'4", 190 pounds, and they figured that he would get stronger, bigger. Great arm, and you know, not the speediest guy, but he can hit home runs, as you mentioned.
Well, in 2016, as a rookie, he became only the 4th rookie in their club history to have a 20 home run season. So that shows you how accomplished he was when they promoted him. He came up for an injured player and never went back. Cobb's 2-1 is low, ball 3.
Yeah, see, that's the splitter, and he can pitch backwards. In other words, when he gets behind, it's not going to be a fastball, but that has to be a strike. So now, what's your decision? And again, this game is kind of trending like the one in Minnesota. They don't get him a lot of runs. He pitches well. There it was shut out through 4 innings. Then he got into the 5th, gave up a couple of runs.
And he got him to pop it up. Another one a mile high. Beckham calls. Manny calls. And Manny's got it. So Manny and Beckham coming together. I'll laugh now, but Manny was able to get it. Let's get a look at our PNC minor league insights brought to you by PNC. There's no better time to act than today. PNC make today the day. You know, Mike Bordick's buddy, Ryan McKenna from Maine. About a 10-game hitting streak. Now, that's what you like to see with a prospect. He was leading the Carolina League in hitting, right?
Yep.
And now a 10-game hitting streak at Bowie.
Yep. Well, they move him up. I think when you talk to a lot of hitters, and I would assume it's similar. What happens as you go to, you might see a little more velocity, or maybe not, because a lot of guys at A-ball throw very hard. But do they command the ball as well? Do they have that 3 pitches or 4 pitches versus 2 pitches? In my day, it used to be when you get the AA, AAA, that's when you started seeing sliders. And sliders can change everything. Not everybody throws them. Obviously, Alex Cobb, a 4-year deal. So as you go up, you know, they find out. We had Don Baylor, we had Roger Freed. Baylor, of course, would be a terrific major league player. Roger Freed, great guy. He had trouble hitting the slider, so got to the big leagues but never stayed as long. So they just test, and you get to, you know, you have to adjust because they've already adjusted. Really good curveball there, and he didn't even. I mean, he kind of danced out on his front foot and then didn't swing.
Well, you know, and along those lines, what you're talking about, it's really nice to see how Brian Graham is challenging hitters and pitchers, for that matter, at the minor league level to see if they can get up to the next level. Beckham, and safe at first base as Beltre legs it out at 39 years old.
Yeah, and of course, that's why he's looking back. Take a look right here. I mean, and he gets a pretty good jump. I mean, nice transfer, nice throw. Goes Adrian. We were lucky enough, fortunate enough to be down in Texas when he got his 3,000 hit last year. So he is safe. And of course, when he does this, you're going, okay, maybe they're going to take a look at it. But hey, how's the hamstring? How's the quad? Because he is 39. Yeah, I think he beat that. Nothing to look at and change. I was talking to their manager, Jeff Bannister, and Jeff was saying that, there's so many young players, and that's why Beltry, any veteran player, especially if you're at that level, how it's important to have them. He said, but you got Bartolo Colon, who's about to break, or Dennis Martinez, or tie Dennis Martinez's record for most wins by a Latin pitcher. And then they were around when Beltry got the 3,000 hits. He said, I hope you understand, you may never see this again.
Right.
And that's the kind of career that Beltry's had, and even Colon to some degree. Of course, Beltry's going to go to the Hall of Fame because of the Gold Gloves, and he's got 466 home runs, 3,000 hits.
He's also closing in on 3,000 games played.
Yeah, I was talking to him. I said your name's in the in some of the trade rumors. Would you go somewhere else? He said, "We'll see." Well, no, I mean, and he meant that. He said, "Yeah, I want to. What are the options and who's the team? Can I help them? Do we have a chance to go to the World Series?" Because they played it. He was there when he played in the World Series, and that hit him, I guess. So
the hit batsman puts 2 on with 1 out.
So second inning, Alex got out of a nice little curveball to Andrus, so he gets out of the last inning on a double play ball.
And that'll bring up Ronald Guzman.
So the year before they give Mazzara $4.95 million. They give this kid $3.45 million. So they were very active. They spent over $12 million that year.
Doesn't chase the splitter 1-0.
And I would imagine, Jim, if you look at that, back then there wasn't a limit. Now you get a certain amount of money that you can spend or not spend.
So 1-0 the count on Guzman with 2 on and just 1 down in the scoreless game. Now, of course, with Cobb this year, Jim, he has had troubles. Here are the most innings with pitchers allowing 3 or more runs. And Alex has done that 9 times, 9 different innings. Only Jason Hamill in Kansas City more. Michael Fulmer's an accomplished pitcher. Matt Moore of Texas. Giolito in Chicago. Danny Duffy, who's having a real tough year. And I'm surprised to see King Felix on there, but he's not the same pitcher. But for Cobb, he has had 4 different innings allowing 3 runs, 4 different innings allowing 4 runs, and he's had 1 inning in which he allowed 6 runs in that inning. So the big inning has definitely hurt him on the year. Two on a slap foul the other way. 23-year-old rookie Ronald Guzman made his big league debut April 13th.
Yeah, not a bad year. 8 home runs, 33 RBIs. Obviously, Alex is would love to get a strikeout, double play ball.
And the 2-2 is swung on and missed. He got him with high heat. And strikeout number 3 and 2 away.
Yeah, same as Chu leading off the game, just up the ladder. Everybody talks about how everybody's trying to, swing the launch angle, uppercut the ball, hit the ball in the air. Well, it's hard to do that on that pitch. So right at the leather, and at the letters, and the fact that once again 2 strikes, he's not going to take that pitch. Gets a huge strikeout.
Robinson Chirinos lined out to Mancini his first at bat.
Yeah, just missed a home run. That was probably the most hittable pitch that Alex Cobb threw tonight. Kind of got it on the end of the bat.
Well, it looks like Cobb and Caleb want to make sure they are together on the signs.
Yeah, the 17 home runs that Chirinos hit last year was only in 263 at bats. So in the year of the home runs, he joined the parade. About 600 more home runs than were ever hit in the history of baseball last year. It's a good year to be broadcasting. If you're a former pitcher.
Lots of action. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
instead of being on the mound.
That's right.
Being subject.
Well,
to that
otherwise
abuse.
you'd be getting that neck injection that Andrew Kastner got.
That whiplash, man, that's tough.
Oh, it is.
So 2 on with 2 down. And time requested and granted as always.
For some
Cobb was
reason.
about to release it. I hope it doesn't happen, but one day you're going to have an injury because a pitcher is not going to know that they call time and he's going to stop. And I have no idea why the umpires automatically grant the time.
Well, I think part of it is he's standing right next to the hitter that asked for it. I mean, that, can you imagine you throw a curveball and you go timeout as you're hanging it? No, it doesn't work that way. I just think, I don't know, I guess they can hear you. You want to make, but you're right about the injury factor.
Becker will play it to first. He could have stepped on the bag, but he goes across, so Cobb works out of it. 2 left, mid-4th, no score. That's all for heroes. And how about Hoyt Wilhelm? Pitched for the Orioles, of course, 8 major league teams, 1958 through 1962, and he served in the European theater in the Army during World War II and was at the Battle of the Bulge and received the Purple Heart. He began his 20-year career with the Giants back in 1952. He returned to the U.S. with a piece of shrapnel lodged in his back. And with that, he still went into the major leagues. Amazing.
Well, he did. Actually, he was a pitching coach for Buck Showalter in the minor leagues. Yeah, because he got the hit off him in Chicago my rookie year. Didn't go well. I mean, it's amazing when you hit off a knuckleballer. You think you can hit it until it knuckles out of the. It was like that happens every spring with Ray Milan when they came up with a thing you could put on the ball that was allergic to wood. That's the way his knuckleball danced.
He's from that great generation. Remember World War II, that was an all-volunteer military service. Paul Hamels 9 up 9 down. Beckham popped up the first pitch in the first inning.
Well, we talked about the fact that the Rangers aren't going to go to the postseason, so he is available 16 games in the postseason. Well, he certainly has the experience factor if you want somebody that if you do get to the postseason, whether it's championship, division, World Series, he's been there.
Well, for Hamels with 1 more year on his contract, that's another X factor in there. And you mentioned Beltre. Beltre is a free agent at the end of the year, but Beltre has 10 and 5 rights, as does Adam Jones on the Orioles. So if the Rangers go to Beltre and say, hey, we have a deal, would you agree to go here? It's all up to the player, and they've earned that. Of course, the next question is, why wouldn't you go if you have a chance to get into the postseason and possibly go on to the World Series?
And I think that's what Adrian was, when we talked today, that's what he said. Hey, it wouldn't matter on the circumstances. Same for Adam.
Adams going to be in demand because of his experience.
Well, also what he talked about, how Chapman went from the Yankees to the Cubs and then back. And Beltry alluded to the same thing. Just because you go somewhere else doesn't mean maybe next year you don't end up playing for the team that you actually got traded from. It's certainly an option.
So Beckham with a real good at bat here, 3-2. And fights it off to stay alive.
Yeah, he got behind Tim Beckham 2-0, threw him a changeup, so that's kind of sets a tone for the whole at bat. Now, doesn't matter what the count is, you know he'll throw that pitch, and then we just saw a cutter. He throws hard enough to throw the ball by you. He's smart enough and has enough experience when he's on his game to keep out of the middle of the plate. And then he's got 4 or 5 pitches that you never know when he's going to throw them. And there's the changeup. And it's a real good one. The illusion is this ball is going to be on the corner and it just keeps running away. And watch him get out in front, trying to stay back, gets the foot down, but just can't time the changeup. Why? Arm speed. He sold it. And Beckham bought it.
Well, Hamels this year is averaging 9.3 strikeouts per 9 innings. And for his career, he's averaged 8.5, so he's always had that strikeout pitch. Here's Scope, bouncer right at the first baseman and past Guzman into right field. So the Orioles get their first base runner. We'll see how they score that. That ball was hit hard, but it was hit right at Guzman.
Yeah, he had the big strikeout last inning, or at least one of them, and then getting a chance to play pretty much regular basis. So take, I mean, it's 105 mile per hour, but it's a short hop. I would imagine that'd be a base hit. That's certainly not a routine play by any means. Yeah, so I think they do score the first.
Yep, that's a base hit. So the first base runner and the first base hit. So Scopo had his hitting streak halted last night, starting another one, and here's Manny.
Well, even last night, Jonathan hit the ball well, so he's been torrid, red hot.
And a called strike off speed pitch. Manny flied out to center field his first at bat. 5th in the league in batting, tied for 3rd in base hits, tied for 6th in home runs, and he is 4th in RBIs. It's hard to find any of the major offensive categories that he's not on the list. Back-to-back changeups, and it's 0-2. He's also hitting .363 here at Camden Yards. Scope getting a lead with Guzman holding him. Hamels for the first time tonight pitching from the stretch. And he fights off a good pitch.
But you're seeing it, and one of the reasons he's having such a good year, we touched on it last night, contrary to early last year, was last year he was unwilling to go the other way. And just from those pitches, you covered the outside corner. So if I'm Cole Hamels and I watched that, and he's done a good job of it, you may see something. Maybe, I mean, you got an option. I mean, he goes as 2 strikes. Looks like they're going to go away, but you can always cut it in on him.
Double play ball. There's Odor, Andrews, and back to first to Guzman. So 4-6-3 ends the inning. Base hit, none left. We are through 4 innings. No score at Camden Yards. University College. Well, let's go back to 1991 as 4 Orioles pitchers combined to no-hit the Athletics at the Coliseum. The Orioles' only no-hitter on the road. Bob Milacki started, went 6 innings. Then Mike Flanagan got the 7th, Mark Williamson the 8th, and Greg Olson the 9th. They each tossed an inning of no-hit baseball, and the Orioles won that game 2-0. A 4-pitcher combined no-hitter.
Saturday afternoon. I was there.
You were there.
So Mark Williamson, here's the trivia. What was his distinction the year before, 1988? You can do some play-by-play while you think of that.
Well, 1988 was 3 years before that. That was 19.
Well, I mean, okay, 88, yeah.
See, now you confuse me because I don't know what year we're in.
91 to 88.
Subtract the 3. Okay, I got you. Well, let's see if he was on the 88 team. Was he part of the 0-21 start?
Well, yeah, but what was his?
Did he lose game 21 or did he win game 22?
There you go. That's what Mark Williamson did in Chicago.
Gallo a mile high to left field.
Yeah.
Look at the carry on this one. And that's going to go. That's a home run. Oh, is he strong?
Well, uppercut swing. A lot of strikeouts. 41 home runs last year. And that's the 22nd home run he hit. So his fly balls, I mean, look at the exit velocity, 107 miles per hour, but the launch angle, I don't know if we can come up with that. We usually can. I would imagine that would be, you know, what they say the ideal one is 26. I would think it would be somewhere probably almost in the 32. Look at this curveball. Lets it travel. And then just for him, it's just a fly ball to left, but it goes right out of here.
So on the warm night, the ball carries and 1-0 Texas. Dochi pops it up back of the plate. And Caleb has it for the out. That was a real good pitch and 1 down.
Yeah, well, single up the middle last time away, and Alex Cobb says, not enough of that. And then in on the fist.
Cobb has struck out 3. He has not walked a batter. He's hit a batter. And Gallo just took him deep for a home run.
Well, 129 strikeouts for Gallo in what, 306 at bats. So you get an idea. He's a free swinger. It's about 2.7 times up he strikes out. But when he makes contact, that's what happens. Tremendous power.
Ball 1 to Sin-Soo Choo. Choo is now in his 14th season at the age of 36. And a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Choo has hit in his career 185 home runs, and he holds the record for the most home runs hit by an Asian-born player in the major leagues. He recently passed Hideki Matsui, and most of his career with the Yankees. Cobb upset with that pitch. Now the count goes 3-1. And this is a guy that doesn't mind taking a walk.
No. Well, that's one of the reasons they got him. And before he came to Texas as a free agent, walked 112 times for the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, even there. Okay, I'll take it. I wasn't looking. Maybe I was looking off speed. That year in Cincinnati, 285, 21 home runs. Stole 20 bases. Got hit by a pitch 26 times.
Slices it to left, and Mancini is there, and he's got it for the out. So a hard hit ball, but 2 men down. Orioles baseball brought to you by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces, veterans, and their families for over 80 years. Nice shot of the American flag. The building across the street, way up there, so it always is getting the breeze. Here's Andrews, who reached on an error and bounced into a double play. The appeal, he didn't swing. Andy Fletcher at first base. Zeroing in on that outside corner. There's another called strike.
Well, it's an ample outside corner. He got in trouble the last game where he tried to come in on Mitch Garver, catcher for the Twins 3-2, and he homered.
Deep down the right side, that'll fade back out of play. And 1-2 on Elvis Andrus. Andrus was acquired in a big trade with Atlanta. He was in Double-A at the time. When Mark Teixeira was traded to the Braves, it was a 5-for-2 deal, 5 going back to Texas, and he was still a teenager. In fact, he was in the big leagues with Texas at 19. And that was a trade deadline deal. Manny's got this one. And Andrus retired. So a run on the home run by Gallo. We head to the bottom of the first. Ram Do-Ups brought to you by Ram Trucks. Experience the power and the toughness of Ram at your local dealer. Or log on to ramtrucks.com to get to work. Guts, glory, and Ram. By PNC, make today the day. And by the University of Maryland Medical Center, be a part of something. Pretty flowers outside Camden Yards. Hey, the birds on the warehouse. How'd that happen? That is really cool.
The birds everywhere.
That
is a bird like Mickey Mouse where you never, maybe more than one, but you never see them ever together?
I'm not allowed to reveal that information.
No, I'm just wondering. Do you think that might be the case or no? Only one bird.
There's only one bird.
Okay. Is that like an eye test?
No, no.
The fingers you put up?
Telling you the rest of the story.
That's right. I mean, just think of it. If you're Mickey, there's only one Mickey Mouse. You'd be one tired mouse.
You'd be tired.
Yeah. I've been to Disney. Well, there's Disneyland and Disney World. And there's one in Paris. I guess they're all over the place.
I've been to both.
Yeah, but can you imagine if you were a mouse trekking all over Disney World?
Adam Jones to left field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Oh, just fair. Wow. Adam is hustling to second base, and the throw is off the line. That looked like it was easy going to stay fair, and it just did. So Adam has a leadoff double.
Well, I think he hit it up on the fist, so it didn't hook. It didn't do hardly anything. I mean, you can see up and in. I mean, right on the trademark. And, yeah, not even chalk. This is way foul. I mean, fair, excuse me. Yeah, whatever. One of those things. To the right.
Perfect positioning for Lance Barrett. Had a good look at it. Straddled the line, waited for it to land, and that was an easy call, but he was prepared. Nicely done. Here's Trumbo. So the Orioles, first time tonight, a runner at second base. Chance to get right back at Cole Hamels here after Texas took the lead.
So if you're Hamels, let's see if Trumbo tries to move him over. There's a little cutter inside. So if you're Cole Hamels, you want him to pull the ball, but you want to pull the ball and keep it in the ballpark with a 1-0 lead.
Well, Trumbo against Hamels, he has 7 hits, and 3 have left the ballpark. 3 home runs off Cole Hamels for Trumbo.
I asked him, I said, how do you hit Hamels? He says, I get my hits.
Here's where he hits him on the ground. So if he's going to hit it to the right side, that's the lower percentages.
Yeah. Well, you work on it, but you don't work on it against a guy like Cole Hamels. But in batting practice today, I mean, he wore out right center field. And then again, you throw the change up there, trying to get him out in front, maybe roll over, and you don't advance the runners.
Well, that's the thing about Trumbo, is he has outstanding power to right center field. It just hasn't been going that way all that much. It's by direction.
Of course, if you're Cole Hamels, you also know it's a 1-0 lead. The last thing you want is a big inning here. You know, lead off doubles, lead off triples. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I may give up a run. Even if it's one, the game is tied.
Upstairs for ball 3.
So do you give him the green light? I would think yes. Got Valencia, who is and certainly aware of it because we talked about it, not hitting well on deck. So give him the green light. If he gets a fastball, maybe the Orioles will take a 2-1 lead.
Well, he does go the opposite way. Guzman will take it to the bag, so that's a real good team at bat. As Trumbo gets Adam to third. And 1 away. Let's get a look at our Maryland Live Casino Inside the Numbers, and here are the different lineups used by these two teams. The Orioles have used 90 different lineups. That is most in the American League. Texas a little more, actually below average, 74, 11th out of the 15 teams. So the Orioles 90 different lineups.
Well, and injuries have a lot to do with it, as they do with the Rangers. You know, Jeff Bannister, as Buck Showalter of the Orioles have said, you know, you don't make an excuse for it, but you have to bring up other guys. Different guys play. Infield in now with this 1-0 lead.
And there's also the manager's decision when he makes out the lineup card with as many struggling hitters as Buck has had over the course of the year. You try to move them around in the batting order, hoping to get them going. Or down if they're not going.
Well, he's been very patient because he's a believer that guys, hey, you know what they can do and you know what they can. And
Valencia left center field. That ball has carry, and that ball is caught by the center fielder Tochi. Adam Jones will tag, and he'll come home. Long sac fly. What a nice job by Tochi in deep left center field.
Well, you kind of wonder why he really would be a Rule 5 guy if you look at the batting numbers. So they like his speed, and they like this right here. I mean, that's a cutter that stays in the middle of the plate, and Danny plasters it. So take a look. I mean, there's your green line. Anything in front of it might not be able to get the sacrifice fly. He made it look easy because he gets to it so quickly.
So there's a manufactured run for the Orioles. Double, ground out to get in the third, and a sac fly on a nice play by Tochi.
I really do think that baseball should, and maybe to change the game a little bit to some degree, that you get a sacrifice if you're Mark Trumbo when you get the runner over.
And Chris Davis beats the shift.
Yeah, Beltry's like he's going to throw his glove at it because he hardly ever does this. That is the first hit ever. Chris Davis was 0 for 10 off of Hamill. Now make it 1 for 11, and look at Beltry. Well, nice at bat because he stayed through it. Didn't overswing, tracked it.
So Davis telling Guzman, yeah, I do that all the time. I think that's why he was smiling, because he knows he doesn't. That's a real nice piece of hitting there. Well,
it's a 2-out base hit, and I always thought when you're pitching and the guy gets a hit, especially when you're not, I mean, it's a routine ground ball, but nobody's playing there because of the shift. It gets Mancini to the plate. And that gives the Orioles another chance to put a run on the board.
Davis is running from the knees. The throw is not in time. Chris Davis steals the bag.
Yeah, and Cole Hamels dozes off, and right here, I mean, this goes on his first move.
Well, that is the one thing with Cole Hamels. You can steal on him. That is the 15th stolen base against Cole Hamels, and the Rangers catchers have caught only one. Chris Davis had a huge jump at his first steal of the year. So now base hit gets the Orioles the lead, and that plugs Mancini. So Trey will take first, and the Orioles will have 2 on with 2 down. Mancini hit by a pitch for a 4th time this year. Ooh, he's in some discomfort.
Well, he didn't even grimace at home plate. Now, of course, I think it's sunk in. That hurt.
Did it get him right on the knee?
I think somewhere in the ankle area. A little cutter right at his ankles.
So Caleb with an RBI chance. 2 on and 2 out. High fastball called strike. Caleb flied out to left field his first at bat. He is 6 for his last 17, so his bat slowly coming around. And now he's down in the count 0-2 on the foul ball.
No, there's 92-94, and well, Caleb's troubles hitting. I mean, he's hitting 134 on the road. At home, he's a 270 hitter. Maybe not Manny Machado numbers, as you mentioned. I mean, Manny came in at 363. Much more comfortable here at home.
Can't get him to chase. 1-2.
Tapping the right behind Caleb to think that maybe he's moving inside. A couple of taps on the ground and then slides to the outside corner. Well, man on second, so if the wiggle doesn't mean it's going to be a changeup. And it wasn't. Fastball down and away.
Caleb has just 4 RBIs on the year. There's a chance here. Mancini still trying to walk off that hit by pitch. That is the 11th batter that Cole Hamels has hit this year, and that's a result of not being afraid to pitch inside.
There's the changeup.
That's a great take.
Yeah, 239 with runners in scoring position. Jeff Bannister on the left, Doug Procale, the pitching coach, on the right. So that's below the league average. But the home run ball, 20 by right-handed hitters.
And he gets Caleb. So the Orioles settle for a run. They strand 2 through 5, a 1-1 game at Camden Yards. Tonight's Birdland community hero is work zone safety advocate Lori Moser. After losing her husband to a work zone crash in June of 2007, Lori became an advocate for work zone safety. For over 10 years, she has worked tirelessly to help keep workers and drivers safe in work zones. On behalf of Lori, the Orioles Charitable Foundation will donate $2,500 to the American Traffic Safety Services Foundation. And congratulations to her. That's why when you're driving those work zones, you have to pay attention.
Exactly.
Slow down. You'll get there eventually. There's no reason to rush.
Well, not on Lombard Street.
Well, you can't.
No, whoever's in charge of lights, progression or regression in this case, had to go on vacation. They have them timed the wrong way. They're not progressive. You go a half a block, but you can't go any farther than that. So the light turns green, but the one in front just went red, blah, blah, blah. And people are going very slow and no road rage, but on the verge.
I could just see the headline. Hall of Famer.
No.
Yells at traffic light.
No, I go different ways now. It used to be so simple. 1.5 miles to the ballpark, go down Lombard, the lights are timed, you go. Everybody's happy. They have a construction arrow thing that's been completed for 3 weeks. Oh, it's, hovercraft. That's all I need.
I saw that zone the other day when I came in on Lombard.
Why?
Well,
that's the only thing you do once in your lifetime.
Well, I had to come in by I-83 that day.
I know.
It was my haircut day. I knew I was going to be working with you this weekend. I had to clean up my act.
No, you knew you were going to be on television. It didn't matter who you were working, me or Mike Bordick.
You're on to me. 2-1 to Mazzara, swing and a miss, 2-2.
Yeah, the little splitter, not a great one, but it's just something other than a fastball. Even though he's popped up a couple heaters, there's a splitter. See how it didn't go down? It kind of stayed, but it's a young hitter, and he's already out of his swing.
And fouls it off to stay alive. Mazzara is 0 for 2. Texas is really doing a good job of turning their roster over to some younger players. And Mazzara plays every day. He's 23. Odor plays every day. He's 24. That ball's ripped into right field for a base hit. Valencia over to keep it to a single. And in this tie game, Texas gets the leadoff man on. Well, we invite you to join us for a Birdland Social presented by GBMC Healthcare. It'll be on Tuesday, July 24th, prior to the game at 7:05 against Boston. Special ticket packages to this exclusive pregame party on the center field roof deck include a Q&A with Tim Beckham, and this is my Swaggy T t-shirt and a game ticket, all that. Rock Kabatko will moderate. For your tickets, Orioles.com/BirdlandSocial.
Yeah, that's his nickname, Swaggy T.
I think that's his Twitter as well.
Yeah, could be. Well, third time through the order for Alex Cobb, 378. So 274, 323, 378. And again, the slow start because of a late signing. You'd like to think these numbers are going to go down.
Beltry dances all over that batter's box. It's interesting that he can stay balanced with those feet moving as much as they do. Chopped foul. They got the ground ball, but it goes foul.
Well, like we said, 466 home runs. It seems like against the Orioles that every pitch that was ever thrown. I mean, from over his head to sliders low and away. So, yeah, a lot of movement, but also, and maybe, of course, you mentioned 39, Jim. You get the hamstrings and the quads. I mean, you talk to any hitting instructor, your legs are your foundation of your swing. They'll allow you to get the bat where you want to get it.
Well, he has 23 career home runs against the Orioles.
And then in the old days, you used to remember the old down on the one on the back knee swing. Actually hit some home runs with that swing.
The ball and 2 strikes on Beltre. He's fouling off pitches to stay alive. Knocked down by Caleb. That was a nice job to save a wild pitch.
Well, they kept it in front of him. So very proactive. I mean, he read really nice read to be able to get out in front and knock that curveball down. He read that it was only going to be about 58 feet. Home plate 60 feet 6 inches.
There's a double play combo up the middle. Texas 2 more. Another foul ball.
And another splitter.
So he's about to see his 7th pitch, so another prolonged at bat. Scope has it. He'll get the lead runner out there. Manny back to first, and they turn the double play. Outstanding work. Scope Machado to Davis. What a play. And how quick did Manny get rid of that one?
Well, also, yeah, I mean, you know, Scope for arm strength, but look how low this ball is, and he caught it on the run. So not only you have to catch the ball, you have to tag the bag with the, you know, new challenges. If you come off the bag, take a look right here. On the bag, right foot dragging across the bag, and then the rocket arm. And Beltre's going, uh-oh, not fast enough. Not this time. Reached on the air the other time, so he's out.
He's got a swinging bunt base hit.
They're going to maybe take a look at it.
Well, time has expired, Mr. Bannister.
Well, he's out on the field, but so I need some extra time. Or maybe they're having a problem. Or I guess they're going to look at it.
So he talked to Bill Welke long enough to get confirmation from his video room that they might want to look at it. So there's 2 points here. Are they looking at Machado's foot, or did Beltre beat the throw?
Well, that I'm sure they're going to look at that only because of the throw by Jonathan Scope. But now Jonathan's trying to turn the double play and get it there as quickly as he can. So, see, that's what they're looking at. And again, this is Manny's first year at shortstop. He wants to turn 2. And that throw wasn't a good throw at all by Jonathan Scope, which you very rarely see. So it looked like maybe he's out at first, but maybe not out at second, and that's the more important runner.
But the video, the replay we had that the video will show in New York is that it looked like his foot was on the bag right there.
Yeah, it looked like, I thought he hit the top of the bag with it.
There has to be evidence to overturn the call.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that's the
right,
case. Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying from what we saw there, it looked like when he caught the ball, his foot was on the base, and then he quickly dragged it off to clear the slide to fire to first.
So 6th inning, 1-1 ball game. So take a look right here. Now, yeah, again, long arms, glove. Doesn't have to, I mean, anywhere in the glove. And then is Beltre out?
Yes.
I think he is. I don't think they will overturn this, but then again, you never ever know.
No, you don't. But again, it has to be obvious that the call was missed to have it overturned, and it doesn't to me look like Manny's foot that there's anything obvious there that his foot was off the base. It was very close, but he has quick feet.
I think real time you go, oh, his foot might have been off the bag, but it didn't appear that. Of course, real time and what they see in New York, we'll see if that syncs up.
Yeah. And it's a double play. So his foot was on the base, not enough to overturn it. And the Orioles erase that leadoff single.
Well, everybody, you know, one of the broadcasters said, well, Manny, how good of shortstop is he playing? Well, let's get an idea right here. Not too many shortstop make this play because you got to catch it, keep your foot on the bag, and then the arm strength. If you don't have that kind of arm strength, you're not turning that double play.
Bill Welke went over and explained to Buck Showalter something. Maybe Bannister asked for a crew chief review. Corey Blazer, the umpire at second base, talking it over with Manny about the footwork.
Now, how did you do that? I never could do that in Pony League.
What, talk to an ump?
No, turn the double play like that.
Oh.
That's what Corey Blazer's saying.
Oh.
That's why I'm an ump. That was really nice. I think I got the call right. They just.
He did?
No.
New York approved?
That's what I'm saying. He goes, hey, I thought I got it right. They always let me know in New York.
Oh, and it was, by the way, a manager's challenge. So why Bill Welke went over to talk to Buck, we won't know. But so the Rangers lose their challenges. And for the Orioles, it empties the bases. 2-0 on Odor. Odor has struck out. He's been hit by a pitch.
But home run power. I mean, he was hitting 170 in the middle of May, so he's come up a long way. Last year, as we mentioned, he hit 30 home runs. 33 2 years ago, hit 271. Much better year last year, all the way to 204.
Bunting against the shift. Cobble kicking. Make sure it stayed foul.
Yeah.
There's a veteran for you.
Wait a minute. Was he bunting 3-0?
Yes.
Wow. Aren't you supposed to hit? I mean, it's a 1-1 game. They gave you a 6-year deal for $50 million. I think.
Looks like his skipper is perplexed.
Well, I think we all are. Not him, but.
Tries it again.
Yeah, you're out.
Pop quickly over, and he got it.
Oh, I'm confused.
So base hit, a double play, and out on a bunt attempt. Mid-6th. Good game. We're tied at 1.
Miles per hour, hit probability of 79%, except 5-time Gold Glover was in his way. Right here, 94%. Exit velocity. Well, Adam got a lot smarter. Dumped it in there, and then Mark Trumbo would get him over, and Valencia, Orioles trailing 1-0, would hit the sacrifice fly. Adam Jones on the double. The nice bat by Mark Trumbull and a sacrifice fly to tie it up. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
What a pretty sky above the grandstand here at Camden Yards. Beautiful summer sky.
The paintbrush of Mother Nature.
Very well said.
Well, actually, Keith Jackson said it in the '82 playoffs.
And you just stole it.
Game 1.
But see, no one would have known that.
But yeah, but I don't.
Beckham first ball swinging. Andrews, nicely done. One pitch, one down.
Yeah, Elvis has always been a pretty good shortstop. And of course, when he first came up, he had, Ron Washington was the coach and then a manager. Throws him out on the run, circled it. Makes it look pretty routine, doesn't he? No fuss, no muss.
Andrews from Venezuela. A few good shortstops have come out of there. Here's Scope. And strike one. Jonathan is 1 out of 2, a single to right field. In fact, he was the first base runner. Hamels retired the first 10 Orioles in the game tonight. It's a fastball by him upstairs, 0-2.
Boy, he's had a good fastball, and he's moved it around. And we've seen 92, we saw 94 on occasion, and then he has 3 other pitches to get you out with. With a couple of exceptions, even the double by Adam Jones. I mean, the line drive for the out was in the middle of the plate, but the double was up on his fist.
And got a piece of that to stay alive. Hamels drafted by the Phillies back in 2002. He was their first-round pick, 17th overall. Rangers got him trade deadline day of 2015.
He went 7-1 that year, didn't he? I mean, he got him into the playoffs.
Scope towards the middle, softly hit. There's Odor. The jump throw is high and got him by a step. Wow. Outstanding play by Rougned Odor, and 2 down.
The jump throw, the old Jeter played shortstop. Alomar did this a little bit all the way to Cooperstown. This is when you like to have a guy that's about 6'5" with long arms, tall. Guzman corrals it.
Nicely done. Rougned Odor is also from Venezuela. Here's Machado 0 for 2. He bounced into a double play and flied out. Manny's been so consistent at home, and Jim told you about his home batting average at .363. He has base hits in 37 of the 45 games played here at Camden Yards. And he went on the appeal, so 1-1.
Yeah, the time of the game, a 1-1 ball game, and if you're Cole Hamels, the last 3 starts haven't been good. This one, very good. The Orioles with only 3 hits. This is a guy you really are careful with.
Odor shades up the middle, and he'll get Machado, and that'll do it. So an 8-pitch, 3-up, 3-down inning for Cole Hamels. On we go to the 7th. 1-1 game at Camden Yards. have in Ocean City. Plan your trip today at ococean.com. And by American Standard, find your local independent American Standard heating and air dealer at midatlanticomfort.com. Well, Jim Palmer's been painting again.
Oh, no, well,
how beautiful that is.
It is. Okay, in the same playoff. Now, if you start saying, hey, well, they flat fogged it by him. I also heard that. Keith used that. Ooh.
Rumbling, bumbling. Check swing the Ronald Guzman. He'll take low. Chirinos and Gallo will follow. Looked like he was trying to inside out against the shift. Tanner Scott now getting loose. 5 left-handed batters in this lineup.
Yeah, Guzman, a couple points under 300 last year at AAA, 12 home runs. So
that's into the shift. Scope will get his man and 1 down. Well, on Wednesday, July 25th, the Orioles welcome you and your best furry friend for a day at Oriole Park. You can bark at Oriole Park, and the ticket packages include the unique opportunity to bring your dog to an Orioles game, plus an Orioles-themed doggy bow tie with a portion of the proceeds benefiting Barks. Now, tickets are selling fast, so visit Orioles.com/bark. Bring puppies out to the game. Let's have a lot of fun here with your pups. There's going to be 2 Bark in the Park days here.
There's one in.
That one kept slicing away from Adam Jones, so there's a 1-out single for Chirinos.
Well, if you're played over that way, and again, center fielders are either going to play on one side or the other side of the pitcher because they want to, because it's the best vantage point. I wonder if Cobb knows he's leaving.
So he pitches into the 7th, and again, the lack of run support is hurting Alex Cobb. He'll leave in a 1-1 game in the 7th.
Comes in 2-11. I mean, high fastball, chewed, hardly ever misses that. Had good stuff tonight. Really only the one pitch, a curveball to Joey Gallo for his 22nd home run, and so he'll leave. Doesn't walk anybody. In his last game when he left, it was 4-0. They didn't get him any runs in that game. Pitches well. I'm not sure he's real happy leaving, but you're going to match up our Jiffy Lube pitching change. It's a quick pitching change, just like Jiffy Lube's signature service oil change, in and out fast, and you never need an appointment. So Tanner Scott comes in last night. You match up. Gallo hit the home run, hit a curveball to left field, high fly ball. Looked like it was a pop-up, but it just kept going. So you've done a really good job against the lefties.
Gallo fouls it back. Tanner Scott stranding 12 of the 18.
And it's not like Gallo. I mean, Gallo's hit 7 of his 22 home runs against lefties. Low average either side. 169 against lefties. 194 coming in against the righties.
Tanner Scott facing Texas for the first time.
And in there, he keeps swinging the balls up and in. Almost impossible when you have an uppercut swing to hit that pitch. And what we saw from Tanner Scott yesterday was a really good slider. And I wouldn't.
Scott last night outstanding in inning and 2/3 scoreless against the Phillies. Working back-to-back days. Doesn't chase the slider. Here's Gallo's home run back in the 5th, courtesy of StatCast.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it. I thought it was almost straight up. I mean, ideally, most of the home runs are 26, 28%. Gives you an idea how strong he is. He hit it almost straight up at 40. That's almost a pop-up, and yet it just carried.
Scott ahead of him, 1-2. Wow. Just off the corner.
Oh, nice try. So 0-2 now, 2-2. You still have a pitch where you can try to get him to chase strike the ball. The illusion of throwing something that starts over the zone, and then if it's a slider, darts out of it. 3. Let's see if it's a slider. And he hung it, and he still didn't get the call. I mean, that backed up. Take a look. He has to reach across the plate, but it's right in front of Bill Welke. Apparently a little bit inside. Oh, very close to the inside corner.
So a full count with a runner on and 1 down. And it's in the dirt. So he got ahead of him, couldn't put him away, and there's a walk. So that puts the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 down and another runner on at first. The Orioles are proud to join Johns Hopkins, the University of Maryland, and other corporate leaders to support Baltimore City's Youth Works program, which seeks to provide as many as 12,000 Baltimore City youth with summer employment. To donate, visit BaltimoreCityFoundation.org and choose Mayor's Office of Employment Development Youth Works. And to learn more, visit youthworks.oedworks.com. Ryan Rua is going to pinch hit for Carlos Tochi. There's no history, as we mentioned, with Tanner Scott and the Rangers. First time in his young career that he's seen Texas.
Well, other than going to Howard College and being from Texas.
Right.
Yeah. But nothing against the Rangers.
Tanner 23. Chirinos at second is Cobb's responsibility. Gallo at first. Scott's. Deep left field. That ball is back, and that ball is gone, and Texas gets the lead. So walk on a good at-bat for Gallo, and Ryan Rua comes off the bench, and it's a pinch hit 3-run home run. And just like that, Texas with a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, trying to look to when's the last time that Tanner Scott pitched back-to-back games. You got to go all the way back to June 25th and 26th. So what, 17 pitches yesterday? And Jeff Bannister certainly brings in the right guy. Fastball inside middle, probably looking for it. What do you do off a guy that throws in the mid-90s, almost to the upper 90s? And short porch here, and he hits it.
So Roger McDowell is out for a chat. John Marinez getting loose. So that'll close the book on Cobb. 2 earned runs and 6 in the 3rd, and he is now the pitcher of record on the losing side because of that home run. That is only the 2nd pinch hit at bat for Rua, and he hits a home run. So Jeff Bannister pinch hits a righty for a righty, and the righty hits it out.
Well, a guy with power. So Tochi, I mean, he's on the club because of defense and gets a chance to play, and you get a guy up there, a little more experience, and then you like that matchup, and he comes through. Kind of makes you look good as a manager, doesn't it?
Well, Tanner Scott on the walk to Gallo, he missed on 2 very close pitches to get the count full, and then ball 4 missed badly, and then Rua jumped on the first pitch. There's the good slider. Down on strikes is Chu, and 2 down.
Well, he tried to throw it, and you know, again, to Gallo, he was ahead 0-2, and then all of a sudden, you know, get to 3-2, you throw another slider and you miss. This is a learning process. And there's the good one. The batting average on his fastball much higher than the slider, even though he's got good velocity.
Elvis Andrus batting. Ball 1 outside. Andrus reached on an error back in the first. He has since bounced into a double play and grounded out. Late on that swing at 97. Ball and a strike on Andrus. Left-handed batter Nomar Mazara waits on deck. I mentioned for Rua, just his second pinch hit appearance of the year and his first pinch hit. It's also the first pinch hit of his career. He had been 0 for 18, and since it's his first hit, it's obviously his first career pinch home run, and it's a big one because it's a 3-run shot and it gives Texas the lead. This one's spiked.
Oh, yeah, right in the groin area by Bill Walke.
I think that meant he didn't foul it off.
Remember, Andrus had 20 home runs last year, career high. So he's got a little pop.
And there's another walk, so 2 walks in the inning.
Yeah, I remember when Elvis Andrus, when Ron Washington, he came to spring training and said, I'm going to hit more home runs, and Ron said, well, that's fine, but don't try to get a real long swing. It just doesn't work at this level. So he hit for a little bit of power and then finally figured it out. Seems like most hitters, as they get, you know, into the 3,000-4,000 at bats, they can work the count better. If you can hit the ball to right field like Elvis, they have to pitch to both sides of the plate, and then they get behind, they turn on pitches. This kid hangs in. For a young kid, he hangs in. You know, he's hitting 250 off of left-handers. And the ability, even with that, I mean, 6 of his 15 home runs against lefties.
Orioles have just 1 run on 3 hits in this game.
What about Cole Hamels? He hangs around. They only get him 2.88 runs, and now all of a sudden it's like maybe this is his birthday. He's so happy. 4-1 lead. He's pitching well.
70 pitches to get through 6 innings for Hamels.
Well, he's a command guy.
And 2-0 on Mazara. Slap foul the other way. That was a good approach. He's working him away. It's good velocity. So already 19 pitches for Tanner Scott, who's facing his 5th batter.
When you're going to see this from him, because it's always, you know, really good arm all the way. Last year, the 3-inning stints as a starter to try to come up with a better release point and better slider. But at this level, they don't care whether you throw 95 or 97. If you're in the middle of the plate, they especially the 2 strikes, they eliminate pitches. You know, certainly on a night like tonight, already loose. So the fastball isn't as effective as it is in the minor leagues. You've got to be able to stay out of the middle of the plate. Or in that case, when you pitch from behind, throw him a breaking ball. Tonight he hasn't had the good command of the slider.
That's a tough break for Alex Cobb, who was pitching so well, and removed for Scott here. There's a lot of walk, a 3-run home run, a strikeout and a walk. Three and one on Mazzara. Left center field. That's a gapper. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Andrews can run. He's heading to third. He's going to be sent. Manny's relay throw to the plate is not in time. And Caleb can't handle it as Mazzara drives in a run with a 2-out double.
Yeah, that's going to get Buck Showalter out of the lineup. But again, the 3-1 fastball. He's looking for it. Drives it. As we mentioned, not intimidated by left-handers. Here's your throw to the plate. Would have been close if Caleb, Mrs. Andrews, as you mentioned, he does really good speed. And then the swipe tag. If he could have held on, because the throw was up the line a little bit, might have been out.
So Mariñez comes on, 4-run inning for the Rangers.
Fastball in the mid-90s. So that's against the Yankees. Gave up the 4 hits, the 1 run, the 1 walk. 30 later on in the summer. Tanner Scott comes in and not effective. Back-to-back nights. Alex Cobb leaves after a single. 95 pitches. I wouldn't be happy. I certainly would have liked to have stayed out there. No disrespect to Tanner Scott. Just
this is low 1-0 to Adrian Beltre, who has an infield hit on a swinging bunt. Yes, the 39-year-old legged it out. 4-run inning and a 5-1 lead for Texas. Popped them up. Ball fading towards the stands. And Beckham stays with it and makes the play. Nicely done. 7th inning stretch here at Camden Yards. Texas now with the lead. Fireworks and music here at America's Ballpark, and tonight's performer, Renee Blair. There's her sound check on the field earlier today. She is an independent country recording artist out of Nashville. She spent the last year writing and recording her forthcoming EP, and she talked about performing tonight on the big stage at Camden Yards.
This is probably my biggest stage I've ever done, but I love baseball. I'm from St. Louis, and so I grew up more loving baseball than I did probably music. So for this to be the biggest crowd for my debut, I think it could not be more fitting, and I'm so honored and so excited.
Nice young lady, Renee Blair, and she is a singer-songwriter, and she has her first digital single that was released today, so just in time for the concert. And that's a lot of fun. You come out on Friday nights, you get the concert with all these upcoming artists who have so much talent, and then the wonderful fireworks display here at Camden Yards.
Well, Cole Hamels and 3 bad outings. You never would know it. Of course, lately, anybody that's ever come in struggling with their stuff, whether it's Sonny Gray, whether it's Luis Cessa hadn't won in 13 starts. He pitched a great game for the Yankees. You know, and even Pavetta yesterday hadn't won his last 5 decisions. Pitched well. But Hamels has been very good. I was watching a warm up, Jim. We see so many abbreviated windups. It's one of those classic windups. It allows him, because he's tall, throw the ball downhill, and stands kind of in the middle of the rubber, so he can go to either side. A little bit old school in that respect. Very, very dynamic windup. Very simple. Breaks his hands over his knees, and then tonight, throwing the ball all over the place.
Delino DeShields is now in center field. So how about that, Ryan Rua? Hey, thanks very much. Hit the home run, you're out of the game. Pinch hit. Adam Jones, first ball swinging, pops it up. Easy play for Beltre and foul ground. And on 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th. Fans, the MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here. That's right, for $39.99. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this sale. Paul Fry getting loose. Then 1 down on 1 pitch, and there's ball 1 to Mark Trumbo.
So Hamels threw the lineup 3 times, and that seems to be something they look at. 225, 213, 310. And that's a little bit surprising to me, only because he's got, we haven't seen too many curveballs, but he gets behind. We've seen changeups. In that case, gets behind, we've seen a curveball. Cuts it, turns it over.
Sharply hit. There's a base hit to left field. Trumbo has his first base hit. He is 1 out of 3 and a 1-out base runner for the O's. This copyrighted telecast is presented by Authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Yep, she's having a fun time tonight. That is cute. Dad keeping her warm. Very easy to do tonight, by the way. It is a beautiful shot. Here's Valencia, who just missed a 2-run home run, but did have an RBI and a sac fly back in the 5th. Ball 1 low. Of course, the Orioles this year, 25 of their first 94 games, they were held to 1 run or less. And they have just 1 run on the board here tonight against Cole Hamels. Outside, ball 2. There is Jose Leclerc, who has been one of their most reliable relievers this year.
Great arm, mid-90s, and sliders, curveballs, changeups. So he's got 4 pitches. Yeah, Valencia, he was talking about moving to the outfield.
Towards the middle. Andrews can't get it. Nice effort, but it bounced over his glove.
And what he said about the outfield, I mean, there was an article in the Baltimore Sun about how the defense, you know, the Orioles, a lot of guys have had to play out of position. But Danny made a good point. He said, listen, I'm not making an excuse because I was red hot. He was hitting 292. Tonight, the sacrifice fly base hit here. He said, but it's amazing as when you move from the infield to the outfield and you hadn't had spring training, what it does to your legs. And again, you talked to any hitting instructor, Doug Brocail, coming out to talk, and a couple of fastballs to fastball hitters, Trumbo and Valencia. So the Orioles mounting a little bit of a comeback here. But anyway, Danny's point was, hey, he said it would have been so nice but you didn't know this because Colby Rasmus, you had a lot of guys. If you're going to play the outfield, you actually condition yourself to it because 2 or 3 days you're fine, and he said the point was, like in an infield, you kind of set yourself, but in the outfield, every time they throw a pitch, you're on the move 2-3 steps. So it's taken its toll. So hopefully he'll get hot again.
Chris Davis singled against the shift his last at bat. Now with a runner at second, the Rangers keep 2 infielders on the left side. And that's low, 1-0. Now Hamels, that was his 78th pitch. He was knocked out in the first inning in his start last Saturday in Detroit. He lasted just 2/3 of an inning, but very pitch efficient here as he works in the 7th. And there's a ton of room in the right center gap for Chris Davis. Ball 2.
Yeah, no batting gloves. Took him off. Base hit his last time. So Andrus plays over a little bit more. Yeah.
Ball 3. Well, the Orioles are a base runner away from getting the tying run to the plate. And I would guess if Davis walks, we'll go to the bullpen.
Yeah. And no free passes to this point. And when you're down 5-1, that's what you're looking for. And none of the pitches close. Not that one either.
So first walk is a 4-pitch walk. It will load the bases and it will send Cole Hamels to the showers. So Hamels will go 6 1/3. He can win. He cannot lose. He exits with a 4-run lead and 3 runners on. He doesn't look too happy either. So the bases loaded. Pitching change. Here comes Leclerc in the 7th.
Lead with but in trouble. So again, only the 1 walk, but that gets him out of the game. So Leclerc does come in, and boy, you're right, Jim, about numbers. I mean, opponents 0 for 22, no 3 base on balls, and 12 strikeouts last 7 games. You know, he's only allowed runs in 2 out of 18 games. How do you do when you have runners, inherited runners? 4 out of 32. Very, very low number. 132 batting average.
Now, I want you to explain this to me because I was told before the game, you know if pitchers have cut fastballs?
Yeah.
Apparently he has a cut changeup. And he also has a straight changeup. So explain that to me. How do you cut a changeup as Mancini?
We'll hold it a little off center. And he also has, you know, mid-90 fastball. Well, it's movement and how the balls come off your fingers. I mean, that's funny. Yeah, Mancini, of course, looking for a big hit here, and it doesn't have to be a home run. Obviously, that would tie the game up, but you know, just dump a single in. The Shields with very good speed plays, very shallow. And there's your cutter. I mean, that's kind of like a cut fastball, but at 80.
Oh, Mancini facing a right-handed pitcher here. 9 of his 12 home runs against right-handers, including a 2-run shot last night. Long ball here ties the game, but he's down in the count 0-2.
Well, he's looking for a fly ball. I mean, even a fly ball with only 1 out of any depth gets a run. And he's looking for a strikeout. Leclerc. And a nice little slider. Yeah, that changeup you talked about, the average miles per hour on it is about 87. Yeah, really nice hack right there. Pretty good slider. Fouls it away. Keeps the bat alive. Doesn't roll over.
So the cut changeup to a right-handed batter
would go away.
Go away.
You know, sometimes if you hold it, if you're right-handed, if you hold the ball a little bit to the left, like you throw a two-seamer, the ball is going to go really away from the lefties into the righties. Wow.
That's a gutsy take.
That's one of the. I still remember Paul O'Neill when he's doing the Yankee game. So on those kind of pitches, you hold your breath and you don't hear strike 3. The ball just off the outside corner. You could see Chirinos trying to just subtly bring it back in.
2-2.
Wow.
Oh, strike 3 call.
Don't know about that. I mean, the only thing that matters. But knee high, maybe a little bit lower, target away. I mean, just imagine you're Bill Wakey. You're looking straight down. That ball is low. There is no doubt about it.
You saw how far Chirinos moved the glove.
Well, he had to move it all the way across the plate. It's not a strike, Bill.
Well, does that change the inning? Now there's 2 down. Here's Caleb. You know, it's one thing if it's borderline, but that just takes the bat out of the hit.
Well, he's had a big strike zone, and that's why I was surprised he didn't call the one away a strike. That was as good a pitch as, even though it was off the corner. I mean, that ball's low. And you usually don't get the pitch where the catcher doesn't. It's not worth the glove. There's a good slider, and they must not. Well, when you look at the 132 batting average. I mean, last year, even though he had some index finger problems when he had to go on the DL, they only hit 143. Well, those are real low numbers.
Now 2-1. Well, the Orioles had the bases loaded with 1 out, and that strikeout really changes the inning. Now 2 men down. Cole Hamels still looks upset he came out of the game. Outside, ball 3. Caleb to look for a pitch that he's looking for here.
Yeah, I think if you're Jose Leclerc, you have to say to yourself, okay, I mean, this is why it's so hard for relievers. I got to throw a strike. Last thing I want to do is walk anybody, but I don't want to give up a home run. I don't want to give up a ball that can be driven.
Skied to right towards the stands. Mazzara is over and he runs out of room. It's a couple of rows back.
Yeah, so he comes back in the mid-90s with a fastball in the middle of the plate.
Nice effort by Guzman as well. Caleb has never faced Leclerc. Runners go on 3-2, and it's fouled back again.
There's 97. Well, no wonder he's getting people out. Great slider, 94 to 97. Now these walks, but the only thing you look, I mean, 46 strikeouts in 32 and a third innings. So that's obviously more than one an inning. Only 14 hits. That's why the average is 132, but 18 walks. So he can walk some better.
Line drive, right center field on the run to Shields. He can't get it. It goes all the way to the wall. And 3 runs are going to score, and the Birds are right back in it. A huge base hit for Caleb Joseph. And it's a 5-4 game in the 7th.
Well, he gets to see, as it turns out, because he gets behind 3-1 and doesn't want to walk them. 3 straight fastballs.
So let's get a look at our 4th drive of the game off the bat of Caleb.
And there it is. It's knee high, but it's in the middle of the plate. So he picks up Trey Mancini, who struck out on a questionable pitch, to Shields, who came in for defense. Ball tails away from him. So there are runs 2, 3, and 4. With the tying run at second base.
And hurry to your local Ford dealers for great savings on cars, trucks, and SUVs. Caleb had 4 RBIs all year. All those runs are charged to Hamels. And now the tying run is at second base. This was a 5-1 game when the Orioles came to bat. Breaking ball for a strike to Beckham. Tim is hitless tonight, 0 for 3, and he is now just 4 for his last 22. And 7 for his last 40, so his bat has cooled off. Went back to the same pitch. This one missed, 1-1.
Yeah, the irony is he doesn't walk anybody till he gets to Chris Davis, who had a single for the first hit ever. He was 1 for 10 lifetime. And they didn't mean to walk him, he just did.
Another breaking ball.
Well, when Tim Beckham, and we saw him at his best last September, hit almost 400, and then hit 170 in September, and maybe that was because of eventually the core injury he had to have taken. But his ability to let the ball travel and hit it to right field, and not only for single, I mean power. I mean drive it to right.
Down on the count, 1-2.
Once again.
Just as Leclerc was about to come towards the plate with the pitch, the time was granted. And remember, it's a request. The hitter just can't step out. He has to request time, and the umpire has to grant it. But the umpire always grants it. And he got him. Got a fastball by him. So Caleb Josephs comes through. A bases loaded, 2-out, 3-run double. He goes with the pitch the opposite way through 7. We got a brand new game, 5-4 Texas. into Fox at 7 p.m. for the Orioles and Rangers, and then we're back at it on Masson 2 on Sunday to wrap up the series and the first half. Our coverage on Sunday begins at 12:30 with O's Extra presented by Southwest, and then game coverage at 1 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on Masson. So what a 7th inning. The Rangers got 4, pinch hit 3-run home run. And Paul Fry comes on now to keep this a 1-run game.
Well, he pitched yesterday and briefly and effectively. So fastball slider pitcher. And most of the year down at AAA Norfolk. Last year, Bowie came over international money. Signed came over the early April. Actually pitched very well. Yeah.
He's done a nice job.
Well, it gets ideally you'd like to have all your pitchers be able to, especially your bullpenners, not the way it works for a lot of teams, get righties and lefties out.
Here's Odor, and he'll take a strike. And that's the thing about Paul Fry, Jim. He is a strike thrower. And his outing yesterday, 12 pitches, 12 strikes. His prior outing, 1 batter, 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Outing before that, 15 pitches, 14 strikes. I see a pattern.
Right, and I think what he'll find out is sometimes you can be wild in the strike zone. Not wild as far as walking people.
Yeah, in the happy zone.
Yeah, and I think maybe in Minnesota the first night he was fabulous. 2 2/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, and then he came back 2 days later, probably threw a few more strikes. They made an adjustment, as all teams will.
That's a real good looking slider there. 1 and 2. Look at that.
Well, if you're Odor, that's the one you just missed, because lefties want to hit the ones that start at them early, because now you don't know what you're getting. And that, that's a fastball. We've seen him throw up to 93. He usually sits around 91, 92. So 93 is the average major league fastball. 92, 91, a little bit under it.
Fry made his big league debut on June 29th against the Angels after being called up. And the 1-2 is pulled into the shift. There's Scope, has to throw off balance, and he gets the hustling Odor. Nicely done.
Part of the shift in its effectiveness is because you play deeper, you can get the hard hit balls, and you put 3 guys over on that side. But these are not easy plays, because look how fast he can run. So you not only have to backhand it, you have to have strong arms, which is why Jonathan Scope. But that's a tough play. To back up the transition from dirt to grass, and you could see snow cone, and then pick it up on the run and throw out a guy that's smelling base hit.
Up and in on Guzman, 1-0. Guzman hitless on the night. 23-year-old rookie facing a 23-year-old rookie. On the corner.
Paul Fry has a nice windup. He kind of, gets up, he pauses, and then explodes. So a nice load. They'll give you a 10-inch mound.
Another good slider. Now
he's got the Donnie Hart where he holds his hands in front of his. I always thought if I did that, I'd knock my hat right off. Right there.
Swing and a miss. Wow.
Even better. Yep. Well, you read bats, and as long as you can command your slider. Now, if you hang it, it becomes a little more hittable. The one to Odor was in the middle of the plate. This one is not. And of course, there were many more major league at bats. Guzman, a rookie.
You and I were talking about this before we went on the air tonight, but I'm not sure if there's anyone better at reading bats than Caleb. And he's the guy suggesting what pitch to throw. So the sliders work there, but Caleb, he is so good at that, reading the bats and helping his pitcher out and suggesting to his pitcher, let's stick with that. Let's make him prove he can hit it.
And that's not easy to do when you're a younger. He's not young, but a younger catcher, experience-wise. especially if you have veteran pitchers, because they want to call their own game.
2-0 outside to the first right-hander he's facing, Chirinos. This was a 1-1 game going to the 7th. Texas got 4 and the Orioles got 3 right back. There's Jesse Chavez in the Texas bullpen. Mr. Gibbons.
MG.
There's a strike. Joe Angel, who loves to give players nicknames, calls Paul Fry Frenchie. It fits.
Yeah.
Breaking ball for a strike.
Very nice pitch right there.
And the hitter gave up on it.
Yeah, well, he's not looking at that. Robinson Chirinos is saying, we need another run. I'm looking fastball. And he didn't get it. And now he has no idea what's coming, which is a good thing. Now he can look for a pitch. You usually hit off the fastball in these cases.
And he got him. Oh, what a comeback there. Another impressive outing for Paul Fry. 3 up, 3 down go the Rangers in the 8th. That man's going to get dizzy. But he's got his #1 foam fingers in a 5-4 game as we go to the 8th. And Texas goes back to the bullpen.
Yeah, Jesse Chavez, the veteran, he'll turn 35 later on this on August 21st. Last year with the Angels. Actually started some games last year. So 28 games. Once you look at his stuff, he still throws pretty hard. 93. He's got a cut fastball, changeup in 86. And then a slider to go with it. So the number's pretty good. But the one that jumps out right here, 10 home runs. What do the Orioles do when they score runs? Usually hit the ball out of the ballpark.
That ball is blooped, and that ball is in there for a base hit. So that gets the go-ahead run to the plate. What was that? The bloop and a blast?
A doink.
That was a doink.
Well, Jonathan. Couldn't get a hit now. Not making a whole lot out.
Well, his hitting streak snapped last night, but he's now 19 for his last 49.
Well, that would be rather envious to be able to hit in front of Manny Machado. Because you are going to get some pitches to hit. Now all of a sudden, tying run at first. And that's a little cutter.
Jake Diekman getting loose.
He came over from the Phils with Cole Hamels.
Yep, the 5-for-2 deal.
Yeah.
Or actually, it was 6 for 2.
Yeah,
he was
players.
He was the other guy.
Yeah.
It was Cole Hamels and that other guy.
Even though, I mean, he had some health issues last year, but he's got a great arm. There's, of course, if the Orioles score more than 2 runs, or maybe even 1 run, you bring in Britton. He's the closer.
Manny had that same idea there. Down to a knee with a vicious swing.
Well, Chavez has been pitching since 2008, so still throws hard.
11th season.
Yeah. I mean, 21 starts last year for the Angels, and might be better suited because he gave up 148 hits in 134 innings to get a hitter out once than trying to do it 2, maybe on occasion 3 times.
Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, studying the matchups.
Oh, good pitch right there. Ball tailed right back. I think Manny probably a little bit more movement than he expected. Watch this ball just move. You know, you think it's going to be on the outside third of the plate, and it hit the inside corner.
That's outside, ball 4. So that'll push the tying run to second, to go ahead run to first, and still nobody out. So the first 2 get on against Chavez.
Well, you're down 1-0, you're down 5-1, and now all of a sudden pressure's on the Rangers bullpen. What was a comfortable lead is no longer the case.
So can Adam find a gap? Both teams 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Adam has actually fared well against Chavez. He's 5 for 11 against him with a home run. And there in the numbers, 455. Oh, look at a good cut. 0-1.
So what's our count now on the last home run? About 130.
142.
142 at bats since a home run.
June 2nd.
And you don't hit him trying to. What you're trying to do, and he would love to do, you're right, just drive a ball somewhere. Good take there. People forget when the Orioles in what, game 3 of the 4-game series, when they beat Betances, Adam got the big double down the right field line. Scope got the hit that won it, but he got runners to second and third, and
got under 1.
Yeah, you can see the Shields come
man's
flying.
land.
Yeah.
The Shields, did he catch it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real tough call if you're a base runner, because if you kind of go not far enough to get off the bag, because you're yeah, and he did. Nice play, really nice play. Now you know why he came in for defense. Glove right underneath it. But you don't want to get doubled up, so if you're Jonathan Scope, but if he comes off the glove or hits his wrist or whatever the case is, you still want to have enough momentum to try to get the third. And then if you're Manny, you come down, you can pretty much come down about maybe 5-6 strides off of first base in case there's a fumble.
No, the Shields made a similar play like that in Boston, and he came up with a sore neck and a sore shoulder. But no hesitation.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit. Yeah,
slide.
I think there's a little bit of a collision there. And
Mark Trumbo now. Outside. Marked a base hit to left field his last at bat. So he's trying to get a cramp ironed out there. Keeps lifting that left leg. Ball 2.
Yeah, trying to hit that outside corner. And so Mark Trumbo never, not a lot of at bats, 0 for 6 against Jesse Chavez. And I'm a little bit surprised, only because Chavez, not that he doesn't have a breaking ball, because he does, but he's more of a fastball cutter pitcher. And Mark likes the hard stuff. So 2-0 here. Well, there's your, I don't know, a lot of movement right on the corner.
Manager pacing. He was looking really good heading to the bottom of the 7th. They had a 5-1 lead. Fouls it off, 3-2. Chavez has been around. He's been in the major leagues with Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Kansas City, Toronto, Oakland, back to Toronto, Dodgers, Angels, and now Texas. Wow. So 2-2 is the count on Trumbo. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first, 1 down. Line drive right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Scope got a late start, and he will be held. The bases are loaded with only 1 out. Jonathan had to make sure that ball was going to fall in, and that's a good hold there by Bobby Dickerson.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get a good read, it doesn't matter what Bobby Dickerson. I mean, that's their cutter, a defensive hack, but a good one by. So again, if you don't read it, and you could see right there, and then Bobby Dickerson said, nope, nope, nope. Now they got Diekman, the lefty, up in the bullpen. So here's, I mean, he can run well for a large man. He's got very good speed. But the last thing, if you're Bobby Dickerson, you can get him thrown out the plate in the late break.
Yeah, because now the go-ahead runner's in scoring position, and Manny at second base, and still only 1 out. So that's a real good hold.
Yeah, and I think Doug Brocale with the Valencia coming to the plate, Chris Davis on deck. It's almost, you know, hey, what are we trying to do out here? But that was not a bad pitch. It was a bad result for the Rangers, but only because Trumbo cut his swing down and served one into right. That's the way this inning started. With Scopes dumped a single into right field.
So here's Valencia, nearly hit a home run when he hit that sac fly to the base of the bullpen wall out there in left center field. A single gives the Orioles the lead.
Yeah, fly ball will tie it up of any depth.
Called strike in the outside corner. Valencia has seen Chavez 7 times. He is 1 for 7. Scope, Machado, Trumbo third to first. Valencia against Chavez. And it's 0-2.
Yeah. Well, he is a strike thrower, Jesse Chavez. Command's never been a problem.
So there's where the sac fly probability is.
Yeah, DeShields is. I don't think he's known for his arm, so he doesn't throw, but he can go get him.
Yeah. Slicing down the right side, that'll be in the crowd.
Oh, Danny covering that outside corner. Yeah, he was talking about, you know, yeah, the legs get tired when you play a different position, but he said also my posture's been horrible. And so if you don't maintain good posture throughout a golf, whether it's a golf swing or a baseball swing, of course golf ball's just sitting there, it's very hard to be able to really hit the ball hard. So you come out of your swing a little bit. Chavez has nothing inside. Let's see where Chirinos moves. Yeah.
And he got him. That's a big out for Texas. 2 down.
Yeah, he just could not track that ball at all, and you need a strikeout, and there's a cutter. Watch this ball on the side of it, just veers away. You think it's going to be over the plate, and it's a couple balls off the outside corner.
So Chavez will leave, and Jake Diekman comes on to face Davis. Bases loaded, 2 down in a 1-run game.
ERA. Saves 2 out of 3 innings. 19 walks though in those 32 and a third innings, and the bases are loaded. Lefties hitting much better than righties. Chris Davis is the next scheduled hitter for the Orioles, and then doesn't give up a lot of home runs. Power arm mid-90s, 95, and then a hard slider, 83 miles per hour.
He's also the most often used reliever by Jeff Bannister. This is 40th game.
Yeah, I think it's not the fact that he gets lefties out, because the numbers don't tell you that. It's just that, okay, he's got a plus fastball. What they try to do is throw the ball by Chris Davis, and then when he's trying to speed the bat up, if you're going to throw a breaking ball, you'd be a little more susceptible. But the 19 walks in 32 and a third innings, let's see if he can throw strikes here. And there's that slider. It's just a get me over slider. That's all the lefties I ever talk to say that's the one you want to hit early in the count, because it starts at you, it ends up being a strike.
Now there's the ground ball probability. Scope at third, the tying run. Machado at second, the go-ahead run. 1-1.
And Diekman almost steps right at Chris Davis.
Chris has 1 hit tonight. He's also drawn a walk. Trying to come through with a 2-out single to get the Orioles the lead. Broken back ground ball. And Kirby doing his best World Cup imitation. So 1-2 the count on Chris Davis. Davis actually, for 3 at-bats, good numbers, 2 for 3 against Diekman. Popped it up. Who's it going to be? It's going to be the shortstop Andrews, and the Orioles leave the bases loaded. So we head to the 9th in a 1-run game. Southwest. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, missed opportunity for the Orioles. They strand the bases loaded, and they had the bases loaded with only 1 down and couldn't get that tying run in. So here is Michael Gibbons, Jim, to pitch the 9th.
Yeah, tough June where he goes 0 for 5. He doesn't, or 0 and 5. And you call him the vulture. Came in this season 18 and 3. Lately, he's been lights out, and again, he can throw in the upper 90s, slider, changeup. And in his last couple of appearances, both against the Yankees, He's very, very good and very efficient. Innings of getting 3 guys out with only 10 pitches each.
There's Joey Gallo, first ball swinging, and Scope, he catches it in the air. That's a line drive out, 1 down on 1 pitch. Well, earlier today, Michael Givens was out in the community as he went to the mall in Annapolis to greet fans, and a lot of people showed up to meet Michael, get an autograph, say hi. He is a great young man, and a big crowd there as the Orioles get out in the community. That is so nice to see. And look at that, action photos and everything. Oh, that was the play at the plate. That was a nice photo. So Michael Givens out there today, and then comes in to work here in the 9th inning. Here's the Shields, his first at bat. Rua pinch hit for Tochi and hit a 3-run home run to give Texas the lead. It was a 1-1 game at that time. He hit the home run off Tanner Scott.
Well, Jeff Bannister's made some nice moves, and obviously, even though Hamels hadn't pitched well, you're going to let him pitch. There's Kella, their closer. Boy, has he been good. And then he brings Chavez in. He gets into trouble, and he goes with Diekman, who gets him out of trouble. Yeah, it's an amazing game. Chavez, Chris Davis was, what, 3 for 6 with a home run. So you go to Diekman, even though lefties hit him at over 300. And Chris is 2 for 3. When are the numbers? What are the years? I mean, it's not always just about the analytics and, you know, the black and white numbers. How's the guy swinging? How's my guy pitching? What are those, you know, the old Weaver stats? He had them, but they always weren't current.
So 3-2 the count. Delano's dad played a brief time here with the Orioles. His father played 13 years in the major leagues. Father was here from 1999 to 2001.
Well, Delano, if he gets on, I mean, he's stolen 16 bases. The Rangers 51 steals on the year. And he leads the pack, 16 out of 19. Only 185 against right-handed pitching. So if you're Michael Givens, you don't want to walk him, and he does it.
That's a big comeback there for Givens, and 2 down.
Yeah, this is the way through against the Yanks, and you know he's got plus stuff. We saw him get to 97. Struck out Stanton the other night. Clutch situation. Orioles winning 2 out of the 4 games they played with the Yankees earlier in the week.
So 6 in a row retired by the Orioles bullpen. Combination of Marinez, Fry, and now Givens. Here's Sin-Soo Choo. Choo is 1 out of 4. Late on that swing. 1-1. Orioles have 8, 9, and 1 due up in the bottom of the 9th. Didn't go. Check swing, says Lance Barrett. This umpiring crew did have the makeup game against the Phillies last night, so they were sent to Baltimore for 4 games, just 2 different opponents for the Birds. Boy, that run in on him. 2-2.
Well, we showed you that graphic earlier, the stat that he's one of the best high fastball hitters, but not in on your fist. And that's where Alex Cobb started the game by striking him out up in the zone.
2-2 on Choo. Outside, ball 3. Givens has put together 3 consecutive scoreless appearances since that rough outing against the Angels when he walked 3 and allowed 4 runs in just a third of an inning. Strike 3 called. Chu thought he had ball 4. He flipped the bat to go down to first, and instead Bill Welke rings him up.
And then walks away from him.
So 3 up, 3 down goes Texas. Here we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the O's, down by a run. Orioles come to bat a run down against one of the top closers in the game.
Well, he doesn't have the most saves, but he's the only guy that hasn't blown a save. So he's 22 out of 22. Fastball, curveball guy. You know, and he can get it up there in the mid-90s. Really good curveball. In fact, maybe a little higher than the mid-90s. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. So the Orioles have their work cut out. 22 out of 22. And there's 97. So, I mean, right over the top.
Mancini has struck out twice. His last at bat, he was called out on a strike that was very low in the zone. Time requested by the catcher. McKellar has started his year 22 consecutive saves to begin the season. That is the longest streak to begin a year in Texas history.
Well, the notes tell us he was what a couple last year too at the end of the year, so 24 in a row.
Breaking ball for a strike.
So you got one that appears to start in the lobby and go to the first or second floor, and that curveball went to the basement because it went straight down. And I mean, that's the challenge of, and then it's 97, and that was a real good hook. There's another one.
Ground ball wide of the bag. The race is on, and Keller gets there ahead of Mancini. One down in the 9th.
Yeah, they don't care about guarding the lines anymore, and I don't blame them. You know, you usually try to play where they're sprayed charts, so he's way off the bag. What normally could be a base hit. I mean, look how far he is, and then of course he's big and tall, and then if you're Keone Keller, you do your job and cover the base, easy out on a curveball. Actually, Trey actually went down and followed it pretty well.
Caleb Joseph had the big hit in the 7th inning. 3-run double that got the Orioles back within a run. He was left stranded at second base, and then the Orioles stranded the bases loaded in the 8th. And the Orioles had the bases loaded, 1 down in the 8th inning. Couldn't get the tying run in from third. The big at bat for Jesse Chavez was striking out Valencia. Ground ball knocked down by Keller. The race is on, and Caleb's going to reach.
Oh, Caleb. Double. All the RBIs, base hit, had a couple the other night. Good fortune.
So there's an infield hit, and here's Jace Peterson to pinch run to add speed.
And does he ever? Did get thrown out the other night, but what, I think 9 out of 11 attempts. Actually make it 8 out of 10. So, but very, very good speed. And as you mentioned, Chirinos only 4 out of 42.
Yeah, he's had a tough year.
They've only run twice off of Keller, though.
Beckham fouls it back. Beckham is 2 for 4 against Keller. There's Zach Britton. He'd come on and pitch in the 10th if the Orioles tied the game. Of course, if the Orioles get 2 runs, they walk it off. There's your tying run with 1 down. Lays off the breaking ball, 1-1. Well, Wayne Kirby has the watch, so he's been timing the release to the plate.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. And they already have their, I mean, they should have their times. Your advanced guy would tell you, and if there's any particular guys you can run on, 1-3 or under would be a very good time for a pitcher to get the ball to the catcher, and then catchers would like to be anywhere from 2.1 to maybe about 1.8 would be the highest pop-up time to get the ball going, and down to.
So Beckham down to the count, 1-2. Well, but Chirinos, he's caught 4 and 39 have stolen a base. And would Peterson risk it with 1 down here in the 9th inning? Keone Keller. He runs. Swing and a miss. Throw to second base. Not in time. So Peterson does steal the base, but the Orioles down to their final out.
Yeah, they throws a fastball right by him, but he didn't stop him at all. He got a creeping lead. Watch this. So he's just going. And that's a straight steal. Doesn't look. Knows he has to make it because he doesn't really care what happens at home plate, because if he does strike out, which he does, the last thing you want is to strike him out, throw him out to end the ball game. So there's your 9th steal of the year for Jace Peterson.
So now a single could tie the game. The outfield shortens up. Jonathan has 2 hits. See, there's a lot of room in the left center gap. Ball 1.
Yeah, I don't think he tried to take that. I just think it was so good he couldn't even start swinging. That curveball drop. Yeah, the illusion was, we used to talk about it, it's right off the table. Imagine a ball rolling across your dining room table and just falling off the edge. That's what the good hook does, especially if it's 12-6. There's another one that stayed up a little bit, and you could see when Jonathan is seeing the ball and he's been red hot, he's on that pitch. He didn't get fooled. That's a ball with his strength, and he's strong enough to hit out of here.
Peterson, the tying run, bottom of the 9th. Each team scored in the 5th. Each team scored in the 7th. The difference, a 4-run 7th for Texas, a 3-run 7th for the O's. Ball 2. Jonathan has never faced Keone Keller. which is a little unusual because Kello's been around a while.
Yeah. We did have some shoulder problems last year, and there's your fastball at 98. I mean, he really has a good arm. One of those classic windups. Great extension.
You saw Jonathan nodding. Yeah, that was a strike.
Yeah, it was.
So the Orioles down to their final strike. 2-2. Breaking ball swung on and lifted to center field. That's playable for the Shields. He is there, and the Rangers hold on and win the opener 5-4. So a frustrating night for the Orioles, as over the final 3 at-bats, they leave 5 men on base, and 3 of those in scoring position. Well, we hope you can tune into Fox tomorrow to catch the O's. They'll be on the air at 7 o'clock in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Those are back on MASN 2 on Sunday as they'll wrap up this series before the All-Star break. Our coverage begins at 12:30 with O's Extra presented by Southwest, and then game coverage at 1 o'clock. Tonight's telecast has been a MASN presentation. And now for Jim Palmer and our entire hardworking crew, Jim Hunter saying so long from Camden Yards. Once again, our final score in the opener of this 3-game weekend series: Texas 5 and Baltimore 4. Tom and Rick come your way up next. O's Extra right here on MASN.